What? Oh, that's a bit... Mike's a bit hot. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Mike's a bit hot there. How are we going? I mean the microphone. The microphone's a bit hot. Why am I peaking? What's happening? What is happening here? My mic is absolutely peaking on my levels here. Does it sound like it's like peaking out? That's wild. What's up, everyone? Welcome along. Lovely to have you here on Cubecast on this Friday morning. A little bit later than usual today. What is going on with this mic, bro? Is that... If I pull all... that's the gain right down. I do not know what is going on here. This is a new and exciting development. My mic is just like roasting hot. It just is peaking out. Does it sound like it's distorting to you? Does it sound like it's distorting? I might have to check this out, everyone. I might have to check this out. Sorry. Stand back and stand by, everyone. We have a very, very hot mic issue going on this morning. Let me just check what's happening here. I hope you're good. Talk among yourselves. This is an early tech support issue today, isn't it? Very early technical difficulties issue. How exciting. It sounds okay to you, Cubesies? The level is okay? It's acceptable? It's acceptable? I'm just going to roll this back. I'm going to look at my own live stream. Talk among yourselves. This is an early... No, it sounds okay. Mike's a bit hot there. How are we going? I mean the microphone. The microphone's a bit... No, it looks good to me. All right, never mind. All right, as you were, everyone. Hello, welcome to Cubecast, everyone. Episode 54. Episode 54. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Coming straight out of Littleton, Christchurch, New Zealand. Lovely to have you here on a Friday morning. Most of you are watching on a Thursday afternoon or evening, though. Let's be real. Let's be real. Most of you are in the US watching on a Thursday afternoon or evening. Some of you are in the UK watching very late at night, actually. I can't remember what the time difference is between here and the UK just now. It's either 11 or 13 hours. I forget. It depends on the farmers, right? It depends on daylight savings and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of the UK, Daniel from speedcubing.org got in touch that he needs a re-up of cube sauce, which is very exciting because I did send a decent amount over there, and it's selling out, which is cool. So if you're in the UK and you want to buy the world's best cube lube, according to me, you can do that at speedcubing.org. If you want to buy it in America, good luck. It's not stocked anywhere in America, so go and hassle your favorite American cube store about stocking cube sauce. Send them an email today and just be like, hey, I want to buy cube sauce. Do you stock it? Maybe you should. Maybe you should stock it, you big idiots. You can do that for me. What's up, Sebastian? What is up, Cubing Leagues? Hello, NF Cubing. What's up, Ephemicus here? Hello, Superflip. It's 11:30 p.m. where Superflip is. Where's that? That must be Europe somewhere. That must be mainland Europe somewhere. Cubesies watching from school. What a champion. I endorse that behavior. Hello, Barry Zhang. Welcome along, everyone. Hello, Skewer Cuber, aka Taj. Nice to have you all here. Hey, we have got a show for you today. The show, of course, brought to you by G Fuel, Speedcube Shop, and Cubing Life Academy. Gosh, we've got a lot going on today. We're going to be talking, the big one today, we're going to be talking with Paul, aka 7Pedge, about his documentary that I looked at last week. I did a special stream last week where I watched the whole thing and then immediately privated it because it was it would have absolutely been a copyright claimable offense, and I'm not down for that. That's not what I'm trying to do. So we watched that live, had a quick blast through it while I played some Fortnite. That was fun. And yeah, we're going to talk to him about it. Lots of questions about the documentary, the twists and turns of speedcubing. There's been a statement from Cubing USA on the world's clock podium situation. There's a bit of information a little bit of information in that statement that we'll take a look at today. I was going to do like an extra emergency Cubecast about that, but I just have not had the time. I had those of you who were listening last week, I had such a busy weekend just driving my kids around to things, and then since then it's been such a busy week, and I have been like jealously and aggressively catching up on sleep. So every night when the kids go to bed at 9 o'clock, I'm just like, peace, I'm out, snoozy time. So that's what I've been up to. Big dad stuff. I think Cube for Speed might be quitting YouTube. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have a look at his posts and what's going on there. There looks to be a new MGC Square One, according to an Instagram story of theirs. No Instagram post, but an Instagram story. I think it's been mentioned on Reddit as well. There's a new podcast alert on Speedcubing TV, the Millisecond with Dylan Miller and Chris Mills, which is really cool because it's very different to any other podcast that exists. I think they're a great combo, and I like the format. So we're gonna have a look at it. STUCUBE. Some of you young, vibrant, trendy young people might know of a live streamer called JoeBartolozzi. I actually didn't. I do watch some live streaming, but I generally don't watch Twitch very much. I watch anything live I watch on YouTube. JoeBartolozzi watched one of STUCUBE's videos on Twitch, and it was pretty freaking hype, actually. So we are going to take a look at that on Twitch today. Not the whole thing. He generally uploads as VODs on YouTube, the things he does on Twitch, so it will appear on YouTube at some point. But I wanted to take a bit of a look at it. He is a huge fan of STUCUBE now, which is very cool. And, I love to see speedcubing, like, getting into new spaces and new audiences. So that's, I think, very, very exciting. Getting a mainstream audience on STUCUBE's videos is awesome. We love that. Also, STUCUBE has a new vid about the Clonk situation. Max Xiao has a name that I am not convinced I'm pronouncing correctly. Max Xiao is now sponsored by GAN, and he has a GAN Square One and talks a little about it in a very short video that he did. Luke Greiser now has a custom V11. We might take a quick peek at that. And Moyu released their Smart Mirror Cubes. Cube for Speed 2 has done a video on that. So loads of stuff to take a look at today. We're also going to have a game of Me 1 versus Me 2 Speedcubing. Who's playing today? Let's find out, everyone. Who's playing today in Me 1 versus Me 2 Speedcubing? Where is it? Here we go. Here's John's version. Blah, 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 blah. We did round 3 of the winners bracket. Oh, Christ. Why do I use OBS? Remind me. Why do I use OBS? I've already rage quit on OBS once before in my brief and minimal YouTubing career. Why do I use it? I'm in an abusive relationship with this POS software. I thought, is it? I'm not sure if it's OBS or if it's Discord, but the combination of the two is actual torture. All right, it's actual torture trying to use it. Right. No, why did that not work? Why is this not working? Hold on, everyone. Why can't we see that screen? That's interesting, isn't it, everyone? Does it need to be... right, we should probably need some music, don't we? This is a very technical difficulties heavy stream so far. The mic's hot as hell for some reason. Oh, that's why. Nope. Fat-handed user error, everyone. Don't worry. My bad. It's because we were doing Fortnite at the end of last stream. That's why everything's cooked. And my monitor setup is just not good enough, frankly. So apologies to... No, you know what? Is it an apology to OBS? No, I'm still mad at OBS and Discord, but that was a fat-handed user error by me, so I'll take that one. That was a skill issue, everyone. So we did the bracket, we did the winners round last week. We did regular me versus Gen Alpha me. Gen Alpha me, of course, going through. Even more Scottish Mike made it through versus American Mike. So we got the losers bracket today. We have Timmy me versus Zesty me as well. Okay, well, here we go. Okay, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a chonky one. Timmy me versus Zesty me. Lots of speculation that Zesty Mike is just me, is just regular Mike. That actually depends. I'm feeling quite zesty this morning because of the technical difficulties, if I'm being brutally honest. What's up, James Dyer? Welcome along. Lovely to have you here. Do I have anything else to talk about? Not really, except to say that they're not available right now, but I have listed them on the website. The MGC2 beta is going to be available at speedcube.co.nz after the stream once I set it up as a pre-order. I've set it up as a product, but then I ran out of time because I had to take kids to school and make lunches and all that kind of stuff. So I ran out of time this morning to get that going, but the MGC2 beta will be available today. Pew 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 pew. I don't have the meta up yet as well. Gosh, I need to sort that out. I'm waiting for the images from my supplier to do that. That's a cool story, isn't it, everyone? A little bit of an insight into what my day looks like. But without further ado, no, let me just have a couple of warm-up solves because I don't think I've solved since last week, frankly. So I might just get a couple of cheeky warm-up solves. If that's all right with you, grab a cube. Let's just get a little warm-up on the go, hey? Hey, stay in there, you. Let's just get a quick warm-up going. Where's my session that's called Just Solves? There it is. Nearly 500 in on this. That's good, isn't it? That's good. So grab a cube. We're going to warm up with some solves, everyone, and then we're going to bring out the competitors for MSL. You know how we do. You know how we do. And then we're going to talk to Paul, the documentarian, I think. Well, that's one of my questions for him, actually. Is this a documentary? What is this, a showcase? What do we call this? He's a film student, so I feel like if anyone's going to know, then he is. So that's my plan there. So that one will go in here. I'm trying to be clever and rotate the cube a bit more, but it's difficult. Ah, that was pretty ugly. Pretty ugly for a first one. I might just kick out an average of 5 here. R2-D2 spotted. Love to see that. Okay. Okay, I don't hate this. That's a nice little cross. Ooh, lovely stuff. You're in there. You're over there. Oh, diagonal. That's tough. Diagonal corners, and that's a nasty case too. There's a hook. There's an hourglass. And that's a J-perm. Love to see that. 21. Okay. Okay, king. Go off. Going right off today. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? That was clever. My brain is enormous. Confirmed. Confirmed. That's free. Oh. Hook. Fish on its tail. F-perm. For a 22. Okay. Maybe I have been practicing. Maybe this is all a ruse. Chris and Dylan's new podcast, you can submit solves for critique on there. I wonder if they would be up for doing one of mine. I mean, it might kill them both spiritually to have to endure it, to sit through it. I've seen Chris have a very physical, visceral reaction to watching my solves. He doesn't like it. Ooh, 20. Okay, what's this average of 5 is going to be good. That's 4, wasn't it? Let's see. What am I looking at this morning? What are we looking at here, everyone? Cubing Leagues, when's the 7 simul grind starting? It's a good question. A good question, well posed. I don't know, but it does have to happen. Maybe that will be part of the Christmas arc this year. That could be part of the Christmas special, maybe? Do I learn? Or that could be a fundraiser or something? I don't know. Or maybe that could be a subs drive, a subscription drive. We'll do something with that. We'll do something with that. Hourglass. NPerm. Whoa, forgot the NPerm. Okay, 2805. It's pretty mid. What's the average of 5 on that? 22.9. Very, very pedestrian, but not bad for not having practiced at all. Let's do it, everyone. Let's do it. Let's get into the MSL. Me 1 versus me 2 speedcubing. 16 mics. Only 1 can be victorious. Who will it be? Well, today we're going to find out who's going to win and who's going to go home out of the loser's bracket. We've got Timmy Me versus Zesty Me. Timmy Me, of course, having defeated Faraway Mike and Grindset Mike in the loser's bracket. Zesty Mike having defeated FTO Mike. And Zen Mike. I'm disappointed Zen Mike went out so early because he was really easy. He didn't really talk. He just used a sound effect, and that was good. But this is what we're looking at today. Timmy Me versus Zesty Me here in the... I forgot what stadium this is. Was it the Dave Neville Memorial Stadium? I think it was Dave Neville, wasn't it? Here in the Dave Neville Memorial Stadium, we are going to see 2 Titans battling it out for their chance to stay alive in the competition this morning. Timmy Mike versus Zesty Mike. We need to get a poll going. Sebastian, I think it was 3 days ago was that one, so you might be able to find it based on date. I will bring it up later, and we'll watch it on stream later. Who's going to win today? Is it going to be Timmy Mike, or is it going to be Zesty Mike? Let's find out. We've started the poll. The audience can have their say. Timmy Mike shuffling his way into the commentary booth here for his pre-match interview. Timmy Mike, lovely to have you back. Crowd favorite, great to have you here. What have you been up to since your last battle against Faraway Mike? In fact, there was some controversy, wasn't there? Zesty Mike was accused. Faraway Mike was accused of bullying. I think that was quite a lot. Timmy, what have you been up to?
Mainly, I did cry for a bit. I was quite upset at how mean Faraway Mike was, but my mum actually got involved in the forums and taught him a new one on the WCA forums. I mean, on the MSL forums. So he's I haven't heard much from him. I think he's quit.
Ephemica, yeah, Timmy Mike is the one that cried after some terrible sportsmanship from Faraway Mike. The investigation of that's still ongoing. I'm not sure Faraway Mike will be back in Season 2. It's not looking good. Timmy Mike is feeling confident. Is feeling a lot stronger than last time. Zesty Mike making his way to the studio now. What have you been up to since we last spoke to you after your defeat over FTO Mike? A lot of coffee. A lot of coffee, keeping my zest as high as possible. I've been watching things going on. Been watching the league. Been watching. I don't know what Zesty Mike's doing. Zesty Mike, I am Zesty Mike incarnate. Where does the mic end and the zest begin? Do you even know? I don't know. That was a confusing and baffling interview with Zesty Mike there to start the competition. Timmy Me, let's take a look at the stats here before we get solving. The competitors making their way over to their stations now. The scramblers hard at work. Statistically speaking, where's Timmy Me? There he is. There's Timmy Me. Wow, coming off an 18. That's incredible. Coming off a mean of 3 of 23, an average of 5 of 24, but a nice single there, ending up his last session. We are also looking at, where's Zesty Me? All the way up there. Zesty Me as well, coming off, well, that's less good. I'm 25 second mean of 3, 25 second average. So statistically, Timmy Mike has it. Zesty Mike 27 solves in, whereas, what's Timmy looking at? Timmy only 11 solves in. So Zesty Mike somehow, I'm not actually sure mathematically how that's happened, but Zesty Mike somehow has 27 solves in competition solves under his belt. Just taking a look at the records, neither Zesty nor Timmy Mike represented in the records. But we're ready now to get started in today's match. Zesty Mike versus Timmy Mike. So switching over now to the solve stations. The scramblers about to embark on Timmy Mike's first scramble today. Of course, using the as yet WCA unapproved 16-step scramble checking process. All systems in the MSL, of course, are perfect and cannot be questioned. Now, what the young Timmy is looking at here, he doesn't look very impressed. Not a terribly inspired cross here at all. Oops, wrong screen. But he's gonna give it a red hot crack. Someone has to be first. Someone has to deal with whatever turns up, and young Timmy is doing that today. Splits the red-blue for his first pair. There's a nice little orange-green there, which gives him a great setup for that blue-orange. He needs to split the red-green for an early insert. Gives him a bar with a fish on its tail, leading to, I don't know, I think it's a U for a 24. Fairly pedestrian start for Timmy Me. Zesty Mike is probably not feeling too shook, staring down the barrel of that one. Fairly simple stuff here for the veteran competitor. Okay, there we are. The scramble's done and inspection has started for Zesty Mike, one of our possibly the spiciest competitor. Well, certainly we thought so until Faraway Mike kicked off and is now flirting with expulsion from the league. Really disappointing stuff. Not the kind of sportsmanship we're looking for here in the MSL whatsoever. There's one of those T's, look, for a Y possibly, or a V. I don't know, I forget. And it's a 22. Zesty Mike taking the first point here today. Interesting stuff. Zesty Mike, actually the crowd favorite today as well, with 71% of the popular vote. He's going to set the second solve here now. Feel free to play along at home. The scrambles, of course, on the screen. We'd love to hear how you're getting on with these scrambles. Of course, the MSL innovating way beyond anything that currently exists. You can't, you don't get to play along at home with the scrambles in the PSL. Just saying, Chai, if you're watching. You don't get this kind of interaction with the PSL. Now, that's the first one. Setting up for a green-orange. It was ugly. An easy split to set up for that third pair. The fourth one's in. It's a hook, fish on its tail. And that's an E-perm. None of the mics particularly enjoy an E-perm, but it's okay for a 21-31 for Zesty Mike here. Really coming down hard on Timmy Mike. No mercy shown so far. We're going to need to see something pretty decent from Timmy here. And of course, the young man spending a lot of time on R-cubers and not so much in practicing. His practice consists mainly of making fake corner twist videos, $1 to $100 cube videos. You know the stuff. You know what we're after. Here we go. He's away for the first corner. That's not too bad. Nice easy setup for the second. Fairly pedestrian third, and that's multi-move but fairly easily controlled fourth pair, and that is a Z. Or the other one, I forget, Z or 8. No, it was a Z. And it's close. It's close. 21.69. Nice for Timmy Mike. It's not good enough, though. Very, very close. A valiant effort by the wee man there. 2 solves to 0 for Zesty Mike. Timmy Mike just not managing to hold it together today. But Timmy Mike is now going to set solve number 3. Hopefully not the match point solve. But let's find out. Can he pull one back? Or is he going to get an absolute hiding here from Zesty Mike? Nobody wants to see that for the poor young man. Except the crowd in the chat today. Big fans of Zesty Mike. Essentially a home crowd advantage for our man Zesty Mike here today. Timmy Mike taking it away with his third solve now. That's nice for a third. Oh, there's been a mistake. There's been a mistake here. This is a 5-pair solve. That's not ideal. We don't want to see that from little Timmy. It might have been a corner twist there. No, I think we're good. That is one of those. The AUF. Oh, +2 for Timmy. Oh, absolutely devastating. Is there a shortcut for that? How do we add a +2? I feel like I've asked this every time I've been on here. +2, there we go. For a 32-6. Absolute scenes here at the Dave Neville Memorial Stadium. The door has been blown off the hinges by little Timmy Mike here. It's just the safety for just the safety now required for Zesty Mike. All he needs to do is solve the cube and not get overexcited. He's straight into it, hardly any inspection. Really flexing on the young man there. Crowd not sure how they're feeling about that. Whoa, there's a mistake in the cross. Mistake in the cross there, massive mistake, and Zesty Mike is back to the drawing board here. 3 pairs are in. That is a real upset. It's a bar, fish on its tail, and we're looking at just a U for the finish for a 32.97. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 32.97. Timmy taking it there. Very, very close. Rarely have we seen as exciting a solve as 2 30s, everyone. 2 solves with a 3 at the start. Absolutely astounding stuff. So Zesty Mike now is going to set a 4th solve. I did not expect to see a 4th solve after that result from little Timmy. So is this the comeback? Is this the Timmy Mike comeback potentially? It's 2-1. Zesty Mike to set for this now, our 4th solve here in this loser's bracket solve. The loser of this match, of course, going home today. It's serious stuff. It's big stakes. It's the real deal. It doesn't get much realer at this stage of the MSL than what we're seeing right now. Zesty Mike getting ready to set the 4th solve now. It's an interesting cross. He did a few more moves than he needed to, for sure there. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Oh, that's a lot of moves for 4. Hook, one of those. Big mistake in PLL. Too much, possibly distracted by the commentators there. For a dirty old G-perm for a 37. We have a match here, everyone. We have a match. Timmy Me is might be able to tie it up here. Should be able to tie it up here. Absolute scenes. Absolute scenes here at the Dave Neville Memorial Stadium. As Timmy Mike formulates a comeback against the incredible start from Zesty Mike. Crowd here at the Dave Neville Memorial Stadium going absolutely wild. Timmy showing maturity beyond his years in a very, very careful F2L there. He just needs to solve the cube. And he's done it with a 23. Timmy has tied it up, everyone. Little Timmy tie up. Little Timmy tie up. It's 2-all. 2 each. We were looking at a clean sweep here. But it is really, really exciting stuff. Timmy, I'm seeing Zesty Mike has called for a timeout. Zesty Mike has called for a timeout as we await this final 5th solve here, everyone. He is shook. Zesty Mike is shook. 7peg Paul is in the chat. Hello, friend. We'll talk very soon. But frankly, we're going to have to wait because this is one of the biggest turnarounds we've seen in the league so far, and it's happening in the losers bracket. Timmy Me versus Zesty Me. What is the poll doing now? What's the poll up to? We are still looking at Zesty Mike in the lead, but he's dropped a bit. It was 75%. Timmy Mike now winning the crowd's favor after this incredible comeback. Some mistakes have been made by both, and Zesty Mike is not going to be happy about this. Right, who started? So it was Timmy, Zesty, Timmy, Zesty. So it's Timmy to set again. Excuse me. Timmy Mike is going to set for this match point solve. It comes down to this. Someone is going home today, and it comes down to this solve, everyone. A hush descends over the Dave Neville Memorial Stadium. Hopefully, Zesty Mike has managed to calm the nerves after that timeout. I think he needed it. He was looking very upset. I mean, he always looks a bit upset. He's always mad about something, but he looked particularly shook today. Timmy Mike making full use of his inspection, and he's off. He's off. The cross is in. There's a pair. Oh, okay. That wasn't a mistake as such, but it was a lot of moves for the result. That, however, was a mistake in the setup of his 3rd pair. 4th is in. It's a dot for a bar, for an hourglass, for a G-perm. For a G-perm and a 24.8. It's not devastating, but it's still, you know, it wouldn't be unfair to call that still fairly pedestrian. Zesty Mike looking very, well, it's hard to tell if he's mad or what, but he needs to beat a 24 to stay in the competition. Again, making full use of that inspection. Zesty Mike is solving for his space in the competition. A hush descends now. He's lost a piece. That's not a great start for that first pair. 2 is in. That's 3. And a free pair for the hook. For the fish on its tail. For JB. But it's not good enough. It's not good enough. What am I doing? I hit the wrong button. It's not good enough. 25.48 is not going to beat Timmy Mike's 24.8. It's Timmy's. It's Timmy's today. Timmy is your winner. Zesty Mike is going home. Absolute scenes here at the MSL. Incredible stuff, incredible scenes. Timmy Mike, against the audience's wishes, has taken his spot in round 4. He'll be going up against American Mike. Absolute scenes at the Dave Neville Memorial Stadium here at the MSL, the Mike Speedcubing League. The competitors, that was very abrupt, wasn't it? The competitors making their way over to the commentary booth now. Timmy Mike looking very pleased with himself. But first we're going to speak to Zesty Mike. Zesty Mike, listen, commiserations, you're going home today. A great performance. Lovely to see you performing here. It's been a great time having you here in the league. Any final thoughts before you go? I'll final thought you. You were yapping. Yapping away, yapping it up, gassing it up while I'm trying to solve. Put me off. I cooked my OLL. You cooked my OLL, you egg. And I landed a 37. Embarrassing. Cringe. Devastating. I'll see you later. I'll see you in the car park, sir. All right? Big words, big talk from Zesty Mike. Not happy. Well, I'm hearing from our production team that we are going to be taking a look. There is going to be an investigation season-wide. Season-wide? A season-wide investigation into commentary during solves in the league, and whether that's had an effect on our competitors today. But anyway, he's gone. He's in the car park waiting to kick my ass after the show. Timmy Mike making his way over to the booth now. Timmy, you were looking very shaky at the start there. But how are you feeling now after that?
I was real snacky at the start. So those first 2 solves, I don't really want to think about. That +2 was devastating. But after the +2, I took a photo of it and put it on our cubers, and the title was POV +2 in MSL. And I got 10 upvotes when that really gave me some energy to take into the 3rd solve. I also had a snack and a juice box, and that got me sorted. I felt a lot better after that. Some Timmy and some upvotes, some sugar and some upvotes on Reddit are really what I'd like to thank for my performance today.
Incredible stuff from Timmy Mike today, keeping the dream alive. The crowd going absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. That concludes our MSL match today. We will be coming back after the holidays to get into round 4. Timmy Mike is still in the competition, so the Gen Alpha Mike Timmy Mike final is still a possibility. I know there's a lot of people hyped up for that. Gen Alpha Mike's going to have to be even more Scottish Mike. Timmy Mike is going to have to be American Mike, and then another winner from the round 4 losers bracket match. But there's a lot to look forward to. Very, very exciting stuff. Now, it's almost certainly all my cameras are cooked. Oh no, actually, my cameras are good-ish. They're good-ish. Okay, I think we can roll some ads, everyone. That's very loud. That's very loud. I'm going to turn that down a bit. Hey, do you like buying speed cubes? You should do that at speedcubeshop.com and use code Cubecast to save 5%. That supports them, it supports you, it supports me. We love that, don't we, folks? You can also use code Cubecast at Cubing Life Academy to save 5% on any of their amazing courses. I sell stuff too at my website in New Zealand and Australia, Speedcube NZ. You can buy Cube Sauce there. It's our very own line of lubes. You can also buy those in other places too. If you're in Australia, you can buy them at Crafty Cube. If you're in the UK, you can buy them at speedcubing.org. And I also want to thank G Fuel, our big sponsor. Thank you so much to G Fuel. You can use code Mike32314 for 20% off. 20% off any of their delicious treats. They'll keep you hydrated, they'll keep you energized, and they pay me money when you buy stuff. And I love that. I love that, everyone.
Say the line, Bart.
Use code Cubecast. Yeah! I heartily endorse this product or service. Okay. Cubing Leagues, have you thought of making a Mike's More Try TM on SpeedCube NZ? I would love to, but unfortunately, my favorite cube has been discontinued. So that's tough. The Morchai Tianma Z3 combo has been discontinued, so unfortunately I'm unable to do that, which is pretty sad. Right. There's someone I need to talk to. Just bear with me, everyone. We're going to have a bit of, just a little bit of setup here. I'm going to bring in Paul, aka 7Pedge, who is going to talk to us about his incredible video that he made, all about speedcubing. It was like a documentary, it was a tutorial, it had lots of stuff going on. It was very, very cool, and we did have a look at it last week briefly on the podcast. And we also live stream reacted to the entire thing, which was pretty cool. Last Friday, I think it was a week today. I'm just waiting to hear back from 7Pedge on Discord to see if he is indeed ready to go. Or not. He is. We have confirmation. 7Pedge is ready to go. Right, hold on everyone. I'm just going to start the call. What's up, James? Welcome along. You just missed a hell of a match. Oh my days, James. You missed a hell of a match. One of the comeback of the tournament by Timmy Mike. Absolutely incredible stuff. Absolutely outstanding stuff. What's up, Paul? Welcome along. You cannot be heard yet by my stream, so you're good. Actually, I can't hear you. Oh, no, I can hear you now. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've got audio, I've got video. Right, bear with me. I'm going to pop out the screen, and then I'm going to switch to Discord call. Simple. There we go. And now here we are. Paul is here, everyone. Welcome along. Ah, crap. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, Paul. I'm going to try that again. Paul 7Pedge is here, everyone. Welcome along. Welcome to the stream. Lovely to have you here.
Hello.
Now, you are the man responsible for the twists and turns of speedcubing. Is it a documentary? Is it a tutorial? What are we looking at, Paul? What is it?
That is a great question. So I am a documentary and film person. That's always been my favorite niche. So I do consider it a documentary. That's how I would describe it to someone quickly, fast. But I wanted to do something more with it than just that. I feel like looking at something like that from just the outside, just showing it isn't quite as personal and interesting as you could get with that kind of a film. And I wanted to do more with that. So as the film evolved, I realized I wanted to do more exciting stuff, go more in depth, add a tutorial, add all the extra little things, and make it more. So I would call it a documentary. I would list it as a documentary if I had to professionally write it down.
Yeah.
But I am pleased that it does quite a bit more than that.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a fascinating watch, and it's such an interesting shape, I suppose, how it progresses and how it works in that tutorial stuff. But I have so many questions. It gave me so many questions. My first question that it raised was honestly about you and who are you? Where have you come from? How have you ended up making this piece of content about speedcubing? So do you want to give us some background as to who you are
Absolutely.
and how this happened?
That's a great question, because I did sort of just somewhat out of nowhere on a channel that wasn't that popular drop a feature film with some pretty in-depth cubing lore out of nowhere. So it's a very valid question, and I think a lot of the people I talked to at events had a similar question, which I'm hopefully was answered somewhat well. But yeah, so I guess I'll explain this. So I've been out of college for about a year now. I have a degree in filmmaking, in videography. When I was still in school, I had a class at this point 3 years ago that was about documenting smaller communities, just any kind of community, anything like that, documenting it in some way, shape, or form. And I had learned to solve a Rubik's Cube and kind of begun the understanding of speedcubing in a high school, but I never pursued it seriously. At that point, it was probably a couple minutes I could solve it in, and that was good enough for me. But I had the idea, that connection, because I had just recently refound my cubes and gotten a little bit back into doing it casually, and I was like, that's a pretty niche community that is really cool. So I signed up to go to multi-blind in Madison, which I won't lie, at the time I did not know what multi-blind was. I didn't really know that there was much besides like a 3x3 and maybe sometimes the bigger cubes. Didn't know. Probably should have figured that out more, but didn't even know to look for it at the time. And then I went to that event to film it for this 10-minute little video documentary and was just astonished by how much bigger this community was than I thought it was. So I did make that film with what I had, but I knew immediately that this was like not it, because I was like, there's so much more to talk about here. And then over the next year, I went to Mesquite Go, which was in 2024, another big event, somewhat close to me. I live in Wisconsin, so it was just that the city's called Mesquite Go. I know you're from New Zealand, so it was Mesquite Go.
Okay.
I realized that context should probably be given. And then eventually I ended up at the North American Championships, which by some stroke of God's magical hand was in the state over from me. So it was like an 8-hour drive, and it could have been anywhere in the United States. And so the fact that it was so close to me, I was like, I have to do something big now. That's perfect. I have to go film, do amazing stuff. And I actually used a very shortened 15-minute version of this film with a lot less content as my approval for my degree. So
nice.
I kind of like how you have to write like a final paper for a degree to like get it. A film student has to make a final film. So I use this as my like official graduation film. But even then, even in that film, I told people, I was like, this is not it. This is still not what I want. This is not where I want to finish.
Yeah.
I want to make something great. It's been a year since I got out of college, and I have spent a lot of that time busting my butt getting this done. And I actually also went to Worlds in Seattle just recently to, well, kind of just also walk around and say hello, but then also promote the film. I gave out these little, honestly, people were probably annoyed by it, but I gave out these little flyers that had a little QR code on them and said, oh, go watch it, because it was a little bit before August. They even had a little, like, I mean, I thought it was cute. I put a little cup holder on the back of it so you could, like, put your cube on it. I handed these out to a ton of people who thought probably I was pretty annoying, but I had to do what I had to do, and I wanted people to see this.
That's how we get it done. You got to get in front of people, and you got to make noise about something like this, especially if you're going to put in the work that it takes to film and edit an hour and a half video. Like it was
a lot of work.
Yeah,
more than I thought it'd be.
Brother, I make scrappy little YouTube videos, and I know how long they take. Even though I've got my workflow down pretty well now, but I'm like, just watching the first 10 minutes of it, I was like, okay, recognize game. There's a lot happening in here, you know.
I appreciate that much, and I think you don't give yourself enough credit either. But this was definitely, in fact, since I have finished this film, I've been like harassed with free time. I don't know. I just feel I'm like, wow, I have so much time in my life to do other things. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. It's such a nice look into the community, and it's a really good thing for the community as well. So like, oh geez, where do I want to start? So just in terms of the events that you went to, was most of it filmed at Worlds or was it at NEC?
Good question. So the footage, if you were paying really close attention, which nobody would be, you could tell there's like 3 different rooms that are being filmed.
Right.
The first footage I got was from Madison, which is the first little event, which I got a lot smaller amount of footage. If you're seeing multi-blind in the film, though, it was probably from that little boardroom in a little section of a Madison place for that event, which was smaller. If you're looking at kids, a lot of the time the younger youth who was in the video was from the second event, which was a little bit bigger, and I got a little bit more content from. And that was in the second city. And then most of the footage I used, especially if you see them sitting at the actual, colored tables that looks very much like a real competition, that was from the North American Championships in 2024.
Okay.
Which ended up being by far the vast number of footage I got through the whole time. My roommate and I drove out there and probably had cameras running at like 12 hours straight, 2 days in a row.
Dang.
So it was a big day, but it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what kind of crew are we talking about? It wasn't just because obviously you're in a lot of the interviews, you're doing the interviewing and someone's filming for you. So your roommate was like your cameraman?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Again, every time I went to do something new with this film, it ended up being that I wanted to do more than I had anticipated. So all three events was just me and my roommate, who's also like my childhood best friend. Incredibly helpful. I can't thank him enough for just like being like, all right, let's make your movie and go to Minneapolis for a weekend. And he was doing secondary camera, so some shots were his throughout just the entire performance, and also holding the camera in times when I needed to be doing something else.
Yeah.
That was pretty much our process, and it was just we had the mindset of just film as much as possible, and it made it so sorting through it was quite a bit of work.
Yeah,
it was great.
I can't imagine how much wasn't used, of what you captured. It's quite the process.
It is pretty good. I did come back home with like a terabyte of footage alone from just like just North American Championship. So I remember sitting down to sorting that and being like, what have I got myself into?
That is genuinely the worst part for me in the process of making a video. Like, that is the worst part. When you film, when you know you've got to choose what you're going to use, it's just like, ugh.
Oh, killing my darlings, okay. as you say, as the fancy term we use here, at least.
Oh, okay.
Where you have to get rid of some content, some great stuff, was brutal. There was so much I had, and a lot of things I would have liked to put in more of, but I was like, it doesn't fit. There's some fun stuff, and you'll notice a couple like for example, one of the people I interviewed, he could solve Rubik's cubes while juggling on a unicycle. That was just a thing he could do. He just had that skill, and I would have loved to like talk about that and show that more, but it's like I didn't really have a place for it. It's in the credits for a second. You can see him do it.
I wonder if that was Caleb Chen, maybe, because I know he's got a lot of trick shots.
Correct. It was Thaddeus Kruger, if I'm correct.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Who was someone who very kindly at the events. I really should take a second to say thank you to so many different people in the community. Again, I was just kind of, especially to them, a random guy who emailed them and said, hey, in 3 days you're doing a competition. Can I come with a camera and stick it in your guys' faces and just ask you questions? And they were like, yeah, sure. And so this would absolutely not have been possible without some very, very kind people who allowed me to come in and get some great footage and do some cool stuff.
Yeah, nice. James McDermott from New Zealand's in the chat. He was second place at Worlds for multi-blind. And he's saying that's a wild competition for you to sign up for as your first competition.
I know. I didn't realize that it was so specific. I kind of figured that every event had like a baseline, you know what I mean? Like it was doing at least something. So I was like, oh, I'll just go. I'm pretty sure Zeke McKay, I think is who I talked to the first time. I think he even warned me. He was like, this event has some unique things. It's not just normal cubing. Is that okay? And I was like, oh, he couldn't mean the whole thing is just something special. Yeah, sure. I'll just come anyways. But I do think that I wouldn't change that if possible, because part of the reason that I wanted to expand this film into such a big thing was because when I got there and learned how much more in depth the community and the skill was, I was like, there's so much more to talk about here. And I think if I hadn't gone in knowing that, or if I had just seen, the raw plain 3x3 solving, which is still amazing, but not as like unique, I wouldn't have recognized what I had on my hands. So as much as I think that's a little bit goofy and definitely on me for not being a little more careful, I'm very thankful that I did fall into that path, because I like the way we ended up here.
It's quite a nice baptism of fire. It's just like, whoa, I do not know what I'm walking into here.
I was talking to Stanley Chappell, who I did not realize was Stanley Chappell at the time. And I to this day, I watched through the whole interview where I'm also talking to him, and I'm like, I did not know I was talking to like the myth like the
Yeah,
legend
yeah.
right here, and it's insane.
Bro, just very quickly, I did some social media work for Sail GP. I don't know if it's a sailing boats that go very, very fast. And I was filming a stupid reel about for the coffee sponsor, and there was someone in the queue. I needed to get a shot of someone picking up a coffee. This guy in the queue, I was just like, mate, you wouldn't do me a favor? Would you just pick that up for me so I can get a shot of it? And he was like, yeah, of course, sweet as.
Oh no, I see where you're going.
And I said, sweet, thank you so much. And he goes, oh, you're doing the social? I was like, yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing for the weekend? And he was like, I'm piloting one of the boats. He was the Canadian captain. He's actually a Kiwi.
Oh my
But yeah, so he's like big shot, one of the like main athletes. And I was like, okay, sweet. And my producer was in the coffee queue, just like dying, just absolutely laughing her ass off at me. So I know that feeling. It's a good one.
That's incredible.
So you got
that kind of thing just happens.
Yes, it does when you're brand new, because I didn't know much about the event really. I knew I had my brief and I was like, sweet. But I didn't really know the ins and outs. Anyway, it was a good time.
And that's exactly where I was sitting.
Well, I can recognize that, yeah, for sure. So you did get a lot of access. Because I was wondering, one of my questions when I was watching the video, I was just like, he's interviewed so many people, and I know that is just getting in touch with people to get them onto here, for example. That's a mission. That's a job of work in itself. And you had access to so many big names.
So I did that the brash way, I guess you could say, where I went to the event and I barged in to talk to them and I said, hey, would you talk to me for a little bit for this interview? And they were like, yes. Which is crazy, I know. At the first event, which I got the earlier interviews where I'm also on screen, which is, you can tell because they're talking to the sideways, which was initially for a different project. Those ones I got in Madison, but some of the bigger interviews, or the more impactful ones, like Mr. Park, obviously, I got at the North American Championships. And I just can't stress how thankful I am to this community for like letting this happen, because I didn't do this in a very professional way. I waited. Mr. Park he wasn't talking to anybody, and I went up and I was like, I'm so impressed with you, because I knew who he was at that point, and I was like, you're amazing. I love what you do for the community. Would you be willing to talk to me on camera for a little bit? And he was just like, sure. And I remember after that interview, my roommate and I just sat there, we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he was willing to talk to us for like 20 minutes. He's got like so much to do. So that was kind of how it worked. I did have some amazing help with the organizers at the North American Championships who helped find people to come talk to me. That's how I managed to talk to a bunch of cubers, including like Timon for a little bit, because they were helpful in like ushering them to me, which at the time they had no proof that I wasn't just there to be annoying. So again, I'm so thankful for their help, because they very easily could have been like, we don't know who you are, and that would have been so valid of them.
Something you had on your side is the fact that you're not 9. You know what I mean? So like that's always a good sign in the community that you're fairly serious. If you've got the right gear and you are asking, questions that are quite pointed and are just like, here's what I'm doing this and I need this. Can you help me? They're just like, oh, okay, this is someone who actually has half a clue what they're doing. So that's kind of nice.
And it was so convenient and better than I thought it would be. I mean, I bought tickets for the championships and then got there and they were like, oh, we know who you're going to be here. You can just walk in. And I was like, oh, I thought I was going to have to be like, sorry, I'll just get some footage over here. They were like, no, the front row's there. Go stand there. And I was like, okay, I will not say no to that.
Yeah, nice. No, that's great. It's a very cool community. Hey, it's very interesting. Like getting that, like for example, that access with Schwan. I was just having to look up his name because I couldn't remember either. Schwan Park, Max's dad. He's just the way he was speaking to you. I was just like, he's
incredibly good at speaking. I have so much more of him talking to that I would have liked to use in things where he just talks about sometimes just other things, somewhat unrelated to exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. But he's just so eloquent. I would have loved to show just him the whole time, honestly.
And he's just really passionate about talking about cubing as well, because it's had such an impact on Max's life, I think. He's just like, hell yeah, I'll talk about this. And he wants other parents to know how good it's been for his kid and how much he appreciates the community. And I think he's very genuine.
Yeah, it's amazing.
very genuine in his.
Oh, incredibly!
his
You could
belief.
really tell. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people for in my education career, in my professional life. I've interviewed people, and you could tell when they're feeling the being on camera or when they're just kind of trying to say something. When he spoke, I was like, he truly means everything he's saying, and it's all incredible.
Yeah.
That's again one of the reasons why after that interview we sat there and we were like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That is going to make this documentary happen. So it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, nice. It looked like one of those ones where you just had to kind of get him started and then stand back.
Absolutely. He asked the questions better than I did. Sometimes he'd be like, at one point he was like, oh, you want me to ask this question? You want to ask me this question? I'm sure. I'm just going to answer it. And I hadn't thought of that question, and yet it was still like so useful. I was
What
like,
a boss.
go for it.
Absolutely love that. So what really piqued my interest? So the journey of me discovering your video, I think it got recommended on my homepage, and it was on about 400 views or something like that. And I saw it and I clicked on it. The thumbnail got me straight away. I was like, cool, I want to see this because I'm really interested in
Great. I was hoping it would.
in communicating speed cubing. And then I started listening to it, and like genuinely what happened, I was just like, this is quite a long intro. What's going on here? This is not like a brain rot edit. And then I pulled my phone out to look at what I was actually listening to, because I listen to YouTube a lot, and I was like, holy shit, this is a 90-minute video. Hold on now, this is something different. And then I'm looking at your channel, and it's the second video, and I'm looking at trying to figure out your name. I'm like, he's not made cubing content before. What is happening here? Like, who is this guy? So I'm really interested in like how cubing can be presented to a mainstream audience. And I think that's what drew me to your video, because it's presented in a way that was so transparent and so understanding of what needs to be explained to someone who doesn't know cubing.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to kind of...
I think...
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think we're right in the same path. I can answer your question right away. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, go ahead.
I'm so excited to talk about this. I think that is a really good point. When I made this film, I wanted it to both be watchable by cubers and interesting, but I also wanted to format it in a way where someone could watch it even if they had no idea how cubing works. And that's one of the reasons I have the tutorial and I teach. Like, I know at one point, because I wrote down the comments you were making when I watched your VOD of it, so I could comment on them.
I talk a lot of trash, so don't take it all seriously. I talk a lot of trash.
Such nice stuff to say. But one of the things you talked about is you were like, I went into so much detail. Like, I explained what the front face was, like, versus the right and the left faces, and those things. And those are, like, very obvious. In fact, one of the reasons that I explain those and I don't have someone interview is because I tried to ask cubers those questions, and they'd be like, "What? Why are you asking me this? Obviously, everyone knows these things." And I was like, "Yeah, but we're not only talking to them," and so it was a little difficult. But I wanted to write it that way because I wanted to show it off, and I tried to format this whole film in that way, where you get that interest and you get those people who have no idea anything about the Rubik's Cube besides that it's like an 80s toy, and are still involved. And that's why I start off sort of slow. I start off talking about general speed runs, kind of give you that little introductory thing, and then give you more history, and then get into the deep part of it. Because I wanted to try to loop people in, to get the idea that anybody could be interested in this, and then take that a step further and say anybody could do this. And that's kind of what I aim for in the whole film. And I think that's a really important thing, because it's such a great community. And even Mr. Park says it inside the video. He says, we love how close it is together, how small it is, but it should be bigger, because there's more people who can benefit from it, and there's more people who would want to be a part of it if they knew about it. And that's kind of the viewpoint I tried to make this from. Obviously, I didn't expect this to be like a feature film played at like a movie theater that 100,000 people would see. I knew that it was. I've already tripled the amount of audience I was even hoping to get, so that's incredible. But I still wanted it to be able to be viewed by a new audience, by someone who's never seen cubing, by someone who maybe was doing cubing and was like, oh, I know somebody who might be interested but has no idea about this. Why don't you watch this film and get interested in it? That was the aesthetic I came from. And I think I did a pretty good job. I tried really hard, to make it be viewable by any kind of person.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you can see that comes across in it for sure as well. It's really interesting that you say that, like, yeah, asking a cuber at a competition to explain the faces or something utterly simple, they're just like,
You'd be surprised how hard that was. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm absolutely not surprised, because I think this is a big problem with it's something I've tried to communicate to my audience, I suppose. And in times that I've looked at cubing and I've looked at people trying to do new things in cubing, it's a constant frustration of mine that cubers do not understand how to communicate cubing to a non-cubing audience. I think there are people who do. So we've got some creators in the space who you've probably heard of, like STUCUBE, who's a really good storyteller and gets really big views of non-cubers. Tingman as well has made videos in the past that have got millions and millions of views, and non-cubers have watched them.
I have seen those too. Even the unbreakable record, I think is what it's called. That video,
yeah,
you probably saw it it just came out right around the time this came out.
Yeah,
and yeah, I was like, this is also the same kind of thing. It's a little bit more general. You don't have to be a cuber to be interested on clicking on that video.
No, and that's the thing. That's the one that I'm actually talking about that later today, because a big streamer on Twitch, JoeBartolozzi, he watched that video in front of his audience of like millions of people. And he was just loving it, and his chat were loving it, and it was I think potentially.
I know. I'm trying to get that to happen too. I watched Ludwig watch a little bit of that video too. I saw
Ludwig
him
did
a couple minutes, and he was like, it was like a minute or two. He saw it, I think, on a TikTok thing, and he was like, "Oh, that looks interesting," and then moved on. And I was like, oh, we're so close. We almost got him there. I was like, that's so neat, and I would love to find a way to give a streamer this, because I feel like a lot of times with streamers, they love free content, and I'm like, here's an hour and a half video, you can watch it for free. So I'm working on that right now. I'm probably I'll see if I can get I'll post to some subreddits and stuff and see if I can get a chance for some streamers to watch it, because I think it'd be cool. And again, I think it's the kind of content that benefits by being given to a new audience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely makes sense. Makes total sense. Where was I going to go? I've lost my train of thought. I was thinking about something else that you said, and then we got distracted by this. But yeah, well, it's like, so have you, how much cubing content have you watched then? Do you know much of it? Do you know, or beyond those big creators?
When I initially started this project, the very first time, I had seen not a thing. I had done nothing besides learn the cube myself. Through the time of me making this, I've watched a lot more. I've gotten a lot more familiar with some of the people. Some people included in the video, like the Lukes have channels like them. I've seen some of their content, stuff like people like that. I've started to get a little more familiar with it. In preparation to make this film, I tried to watch that kind of stuff, like the Speedcubers, I think is what it's called, on Netflix. I watched that documentary to see what it was like while making this documentary. And I was very pleased to see that it was slightly different than what I was doing. Because I was like, that would have been annoying.
The Speedcubers was massive. It was massive for Speedcubing.
I know it was. And that's why I was like, I have to watch this and see what it's like. And I think that film is very good, but it's more specific and doesn't give you the full wraps, which is what I wanted to do. So I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
But I tried to get more familiar with that kind of stuff. I'm honestly still probably not as familiar as I should be, but I am kind of an outsider stepping into the sphere as a whole. So I did my best to be really careful to get all of my information as correct as I could do it, but still try to make it in a way that's digestible to a new audience. That's almost the hardest part, is to try to learn all these things myself, but then also find a way to describe them to somebody who had no idea what I was talking about. It was interesting. It took some work, but I think we got there decently well.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's almost like a welcome to speedcubing video. It's almost like an onboarding video for speedcubing.
That's great. That is kind of the aesthetic I went for. So yeah. Because
it goes through so many of the events. I don't know if you did all 17 events. I forget, but you did a lot of them.
I did talk about them, and I wanted to make sure I talked about them because as this expanded and as I talked to people like Keegan, who just was so excited about the different kinds of cubes, I was like, I gotta talk about
Yes,
all
he
of
was
them.
great, wasn't he? He was really good. He was the collector, right?
Keegan's great.
Yeah.
Love Keegan. Yes, he was the one with the huge, massive cubes, and he was just so energetic about it that I was like, I gotta talk about all these. And that's when I did that's the section where you had the little things like spinning the whole time.
Yeah.
I talked about each event and how they worked.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, because like I was saying, it serves as like a sort of onboarding for anyone who's like thinking about stepping into it. And I think, going back to the Speedcubers, I think that was a very emotional story about two people, which was beautifully presented and really well told. But yours is definitely very, very different in its in what it's trying to do and who it's trying to reach and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I thought it was really interesting. But like taking your sort of experience as a filmmaker, and now that you're I'm going to assume a decent like a fairly big consumer of video media, probably on YouTube or wherever.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, so
someone in your chat said, I love long form YouTube like video content. That is my absolute favorite thing in the world. Is just that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's another big inspiration for the way I wanted to make this. I love that YouTube video you watch where it's like I can just sit down for like 2 hours and consume way more highly produced stuff than I should be not paying for.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it's crazy.
And I love that kind of content. And so I was like, I want to do it too. And I'm so incredibly excited to have been able to actually do that with my life, because I've been watching that kind of content, just grasping for it for years.
Yeah.
The only reason I have a career in film is because I love that people could make YouTube videos back, way at the beginning of YouTube, when I was a little child who couldn't touch the floor with my feet, and I would sit at my computer and still watch YouTube videos, and I was astounded by how someone could just like do that. They could just choose to make YouTube videos and then put them online. And that's why I got a film degree. And that's why we got all the way to here. So I'm so excited to be a part of it.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, my first ever YouTube video was in 2006. I was in like midway through uni. So 2006, 2007, playing with yo-yos, throwing freestyle yo-yos around all over the place.
Oh, so you've always been a nerd then,
in a My Chemical Romance t-shirt. Always. I've always been into skill toys and things you can do with your hands, and also just like
that's awesome.
Weird little communities and stuff. But so I guess my question then is like, from your perspective, what's the problem that we're having, or what's the thing that we're not doing maybe in speedcubing content? Like, I know my stuff is very, very deep in. It's not really for anyone who's brand new, because we're nerding out on some really niche stuff. Like, is this cube gonna have this kind of adjustment or what, or is it, and you know what I mean? Like, it's quite in depth. I
see exactly what you're saying.
It's very niche. But like, and I'm not the only one. I feel like it's all quite niche, apart from those few standouts who are very good at storytelling. How do you think cubing grows in a content way?
Yeah. I think there's a couple things about this. I think the number one problem is the exact parallel that the cube has as a whole. To an outsider, this seems impossible. And I even say that directly in the video. It literally seems like a task you could never get to. And I think that's exactly paralleled with the content. People see solving a Rubik's Cube as such a complex, difficult thing to do. And the same way, it's very hard to make content about cubing that the average person thinks they could be interested in. And so they don't even try, kind of, in a way. I think it really comes to a couple things, but I think that's like the heart of it. It doesn't seem like something, it seems very niche. It seems like a community that's full of people who, like, are very hyper focused, that sometimes puts people off to that kind of content. Like, as if you were saying, can you get involved in like League of Legends? People are going to be like, oh, that's got a little bit of a stigma, because people they have an idea in their mind already. And the idea in their mind about these is that they're complex and only for very, very smart people who spend a lot of time doing it. And that's the way they already see it. So I think it needs to be reframed more. And that's what I try to do, is show that anyone could do it, and give it in a way that's a little bit more understandable. I think a lot of the creators have that problem too, is and that kind of goes back to the other thing. I think sometimes they don't even realize that they might be doing something that pushes a normal person away. Even just saying like, oh, I got this GAN 11 and I'm going to do CFOP over here. If I had no idea what you were talking about, I would have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it makes no sense to me. And I feel like it's so natural for us to be a good cuber. It has to come like really naturally, and it does. And so sometimes it's hard to understand what those people might need in order for them to be interested in, if that makes sense. And I think we have to, if creators, we probably need to pivot a little bit to being more welcoming to that outside audience, being a little bit more explanatory and like slow down. And the world just kind of has to understand that it's not like for a genius. It's not a thing that you have to like study. I guess you do kind of have to study, but you don't have to like get a law degree to understand a Rubik's Cube. It really could just take you a couple hours. Yeah. And so we have to start reframing it, I think, that way, and making it seem less complex to the normal person who currently has no idea they could ever get there, but they absolutely could.
There's a video I'm having an idea literally as we're talking right now, and it's like I want to tell the story of my first solve, right? And it's like how I solved my first Rubik's Cube, right? So you can go back and be like, well, it was this year and I bought this cube from this place. And I found this video. And then I started working. I had this notebook. I wrote down these patterns. I went on holiday to this place. And because I'm thinking as well, I've got these photos as well. Like there's photos of me back 8 years ago or something like that when my son's still in nappies. And I'm in Kaiteri, this beach up north, with my little notebook and my cube and a beer, just sitting in the sunshine, just working it out, just like practicing, before I could solve.
That's incredible.
Without my notebook, So it's like, oh, snap. There's a story to be told there. And what's good about that is every cuber has that story. So that's
Absolutely.
That's like a movie. That's like a video that you could potentially turn into a movement. I need to watch myself, though. I have too many ideas and not enough skills or time to execute them. So it's the start of something, though, potentially.
Well, I get that. But I think that's great. And I think what's so important about that is telling the story is super cool. And that's also just amazing. But it's also important to, like, as a creator, think about your first time solving it while you're making content that if you were making it for new people. Imagine that. Like, remember your headspace during that. Remember how you wanted to but didn't have any idea what you were doing. Now, try to come at making your content for those new people from that same viewpoint that you had way back then. And like, because I know, like, when I started this film, I was not that great at solving this. And by the end of it, I'm still not, I don't want to say I'm good at it. It's like a 45-second average, which for me is incredible. But
that's where I started. As my first competition was 45 seconds.
Even still, like those like 3-4 years that this was like in my life, I started to forget how to explain things sometimes. Like doing my tutorial, I had to sit there and be like, okay, well, what problems would you run into if you were scared to even like turn it this much thought you'd mess it up? Like I had to try to come at it from that point, and it got hard. Yeah. And so I can see why it's difficult. And I remember my first time solving it, giving up a couple times and being like, it's impossible. I can't do it. Yeah. And then eventually being like, I have to figure it out, and coming back and getting there eventually.
There's an interesting one in that as well. If I try and teach someone to solve the cube, I'm actually very bad at it because I've forgotten parts of the beginner's method. I like get to this point where you've got to do the F2L corners, then you do your edges, and I'm like, wait, no, I can't remember how to do this because I've moved on since then. And it's just like, well, that's a problem in itself. We can't. It's hard when you are.
It's
to remember those old methods.
Way to relate back to like a new person. It's hard to kind of like get back into the mindset because you're like, all right, well, just like, flip that side. You know how to do that. Like for this step, all you have to do is flip the position of that piece. They don't even know how to flip the position of that piece. No. So you can't tell them it's that simple because they don't even know that, which is fine. But you have to be aware like where you're sitting, and that can be a challenge.
Yeah. Chris Mills in the chat talking about the name of the documentary. I need you to elaborate on that, Chris.
Yeah, I can tell you already. The timing is insane. I named this film like 4 years ago. That was the way it was. It was named a while ago, and it's been called Turning Point: The Twists and Turns of Speedcubing for a while. There's unfortunately a very far right political group called Turning Point in
Oh
the United States
no!
of America.
Oh no!
Whose CEO was Charlie Kirk.
Oh no!
So
Oh my god! Okay.
the words Turning Point have been in the news a lot, and I recognize the irony there. My film was named before people really knew what was going on there, so that's maybe just a very big twist of irony. Maybe it would have been good to switch it, but there's no way I could have known that at the time. But I still think it's a fun name, and I didn't just call. At least it's not just Turning Point, because that would have been confusing. But yeah, irony there.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Good question though. I was actually gonna say that it was on my list of things to talk about. I was ironic timing. Ironic timing for sure.
Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough. I'm trying to think. What else did I talk smack about when I was watching it the other day?
I got the list here.
You can fire back.
First thing I wanted to say, I thought I'd mention this. Hilarious timing also. The Super Mario World record got broken like 2 days before the film got released.
Oh, did it?
It had stood for 4 years, and it got broken 2 days before I released the film. That starts off by saying, this is what the Mario Bros. World record is. So I don't know what was about me releasing this, but it seemed to mix up things a lot. I like ironically.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought that was funny. I thought I'd also just give you that anecdote.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm going to preempt one of your notes by apologizing to the person who wrote the music. Because when I watched the credits, I was like, oh no, there's so many different tunes in here.
You did say
That's
that like
tough.
twice. You were like, it's the same tune. And I did understand because like they are very similar.
Same
music
vibe,
types.
yeah.
I wanted to stay in the same vibe, but there was a couple and I was like, he just hasn't noticed. And that's so funny.
And that's particularly devastating because I'm from the arts as well. And my degree is music. And I was like, this is the same damn tune. It was the same, absolutely same vibe. But then I noticed the tempo had changed.
I think you did also say it for a time where I did play. The song was on for a little while, so I was understanding when you said it initially. You were like, "This is a long tune," and I was like, "Yeah, this one is playing for a while. That is fair."
Okay.
But it's all by Droid Bishop.
Yeah.
Who was a person I found just for this film while doing a ton of. It took me a long time to pick music, but I reached out to him and asked him if I could use his music for the film because I felt it fit the little bit the specific kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great stuff. So
it's really good. And I love the name as well. Big Aliens fan, so I love the name. But yeah, big apologies to Droid Bishop for claiming that 90 minutes of his music, about 10 or 12 or 15 different tunes was the same one. Because I think I was about 40 minutes.
It was also in the background, to be fair. Like,
yeah.
I was talking over it, so like it makes a lot of sense.
Plus, I was playing Fortnite at the same time, so I was like, there was a lot. It was a very sensory overload kind of situation.
I know. The other funny thing that I thought was very ironic, I was laughing about it while I was watching your video, is that you at one point you said that you were like, oh, I wish the names would pop up so I knew who was talking at some point in the video. And then every time you would look away, the nameplate would slide on screen. And then like it would slide off and you would look back and I'd be like, he missed it again. There
Dang
it was.
Oh,
it was so
man.
funny.
Okay, that's fair. That's good feedback.
I was laughing so hard about it. I was like watching it. I was like, every single time.
Yeah.
It's like he plans it. But yes, they were all amazing people, and make sure you watch the credits of that film and read their names because they were so helpful. It would have been impossible without having so many people contribute to that film. Very, very awesome stuff.
Yeah, cool. I should probably think about wrapping stuff up soon because I got so much more to go over. I really appreciate you making time to come on.
Of course, I appreciate you having me. It was fun to talk about all this.
Very important question. Are you competing?
I have never competed. I might eventually, but I got to get better at it because I've set the standards for myself kind of high by making this whole thing. I kind of hope that I can always use the argument that like, oh, I can't solve that fast, but I did make that film. That I can kind of use that for a little while to get a little bit quicker.
You can rely on that for a bit.
I do have to practice some more.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta practice some more. Maybe I will eventually, but I'll get there. I gotta get there a little bit though.
Yeah, nice. Did you want to do any thanks before you headed off? Is there anything anyone you need to thank, and anything you need to plug before you go? I've pinned the link to the video in the chat so people can go and find it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I'll just say a huge thank you to Nathan Stout, my roommate. Incredibly helpful. Would not have been possible to Julia Donahue, who's in the chat. She helped me get some of that post-production stuff happening.
Oh,
That's
shout
my
out
girlfriend
Julia.
right there. Very,
Oh,
very
there she
kind.
is. Nice. Hype squad.
Heck yeah. And then also the many cubers. If you please look through the credits and all those things, you'll see them all. Even the footage I used that wasn't mine. You'll notice in the film they're all labeled with the little numbers on them.
Your credits.
Those are also.
Your credits were very thorough. I did notice that actually.
I
was like,
did
hot
like
damn.
that. I have a little bit of like, I don't know. I just wanted to be very peculiar. I like the way it all was laid out very nicely. So
Yeah.
all that, thanks for that as well to the whole community, but especially to those interviewees and the other WCA delegates that got me into those events. Massive thank you. Of course, you can watch the film at 7PEJ on YouTube, as you can probably see listed, or you can go to my website, which is paul7media.com. That is also on there with some more fun details. It's not too complex, but you can see a little bit of extra tiny bit of content and credits and lists there if you're ever interested. Yeah, that's the film.
Do you think there will be more SpeedCube content, or have you got another project in mind?
That's also a great question, because I mean, I'm not only a cuber. Like, I don't think I'll probably be making anything this big about cubing again, to be honest with you. I feel like I've kind of reached a peak there, but maybe I'll do more cubing content. I would love to promote this more and maybe make some little extra content to go with it. But I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where my next path follows me. I love talking about niche communities, so it might be in the same genre, but I don't know. At this point, I'm still kind of riding the high of finishing that one. So we'll see where the world takes me for the next project.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I mean, like so one of the big YouTube strategies is like to make your content work as many times for you as you can.
Exactly.
I feel like you can pull the tutorial part out and just have your own tutorial.
Exactly what I was thinking. I was already working on that a little bit, so I could see your mind at work.
Some of your chapters even could be individuals. You could make short little punchy versions of those to try and get people. There's a lot you can do there.
Sure.
There's lots of potential.
The end goal is just to try to reach as many people as possible and show them how cool cubing is. And so I'm going to do my best to make that happen.
Yeah, of course. I'm on a personal vendetta to get this over 5K. It's very stubbornly sitting at 4.9.
Hey, I appreciate that. I do. I think that'd be great. I think it's one of those things that will also over time still like keep getting some popularity as YouTube kind of puts it out to people. So
yeah, definitely.
I would expect maybe, obviously it's slowed down now because we're a little out of weight, but I imagine it'll still climb every once in a while a little bit. I'm already very thankful for everybody who has watched it. So very, very kind of everybody.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for making it. Thank you so much for making time to come on today. I'm going to crack on just now. Paul, a.k.a. 7Peg, Turning Point, the twists and turns of speedcubing, director, I suppose.
You could say director.
And everything else.
Director, editor, creator, most of the things. I definitely did.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hey, listen, I'm gonna
thank you.
The way this is gonna work now, because I have no producer, I'm just gonna hang up on you. It'll look slick on this.
I totally get it.
Nice one.
I'll keep on your stream for a little bit too, so I'll be around. But I appreciate getting to talk to you for a little bit. It was very fun.
Nice. Thank you so much. That was Paul from 7PEJ. The maker of the twists and turns of speedcubing, the documentary. We've got so much to talk about today. I'm not going to get through it all because I need to get off of here in about 90 minutes. We're going to look at the statement from Cubing USA about the world's clock podium. I think Cube for Speed is quitting YouTube. We're going to have a look at that. There's the MGC Square 1 Part 2. There's the Millisecond podcast. STUCUBE on Bartolozzi's Twitch. STUCUBE's new video. Max Xiao on GAN now. Luke Greiser's Custom V11. Moyu Smart Mirror Cubes as well. There's far too much. If any of those things piqued your interest, then you can scream about it in the chat. In the meantime, I got to run to the bathroom. Okay, I have to run to the bathroom before I die. My back teeth are swimming. I'll be back. I'll be back in a second. Okay. We're back. Here we go, everyone. Here we go. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Thank you so much to Paul. Appreciate you coming on. Julia, the food, the buffet. The buffet is an issue on the break screen because it just makes me want to go and it makes me want to order Uber Eats, honestly, and that's an issue. That's an issue. We're gonna have a look at. Let me just load this up here now. First of all, let me just load this up. All right. Let me load this up so that we can do this. James, wait a minute. Before we carry on, James Mack, if you're still in the chat, what's the comp? What's the comp you're talking about? The comp you said in the chat earlier on, was that announced in KRCA? Which one is that? Which one are we talking about here? N by N's in November? Is that what we're talking about? Ugh. Why would you open over there? Why would you do that? N by N's in November? What are the events here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and one-handed? That's not that goofy. Oh, Fair Wellington. Fair Wellington. What are we looking at there? Hold on. Fair Wellington. Has that got goofy? Has that got goofiness? What are we looking at? 3x3, 2x2, 4, 5, 6. Clank and Square One. I mean, Square One's insane. I don't know why you would have that at any competition, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like that a lot. And a bit of Clank in there as well. Wait, only one round of 3x3? Sir. What's happening? What's that about? 2 rounds of 2x2. But only one round of 3x3. All right, you're going to have to take me through your working there. You're going to have to talk me through your working there. But I believe. Look at the schedule. Oh, it's the New Year's Eve one. Oh, okay. Midnight snack, sing a song. And then fireworks. And it's straight into 3x3. Okay, I see what you're up to. That's very cool. I like that. Right, bear with me, everyone. I'm going to fix my stupid cameras here because OBS does not like me very much. I see what you've done there, James, and I approve. I approve of that. That's great. Clock final right at the end. So Lockie... Hold on now. Hold on. Let me just see if I can work this out. So a clock final. If we can get Lockie there. He could be year Keatoned. If there's another clock round on New Year's Eve somewhere else in the world, he could get like turbo Keatoned if he got a world record and then someone else beat it. He could literally be beaten by a world record from the previous year. Time zone dependent. Oh, and so we get some of the first solves of the year. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so 3x3. First solves is 2026. Unless, like, who gets New Year's before New Zealand? Is it Niue or something like that? There is somewhere. The Cook Islands. No, because they're the other side of the date line. I like your style, though. I see what you've done there, James. Very good. Very nice. Love to see that. Love to see that. Okay, what did I want to talk about now? We've had a statement, everyone. We've had a statement about the clock podium, the world's clock podium. And it's come from Cubing USA, posted by Ram Thakar, the communications team. Cubing USA made an official statement about the incident. And it has some interesting information in it. Let's have a look. Here it is, everyone. Ooh, I'm going to just make this easier for all your faces to see. There you go. How's that? So this is a statement from Cubing USA, which is, the crew who were heavily involved in putting on Worlds. So cast your mind back, for those of you who haven't been following that closely. I feel like every Cuber's been following this, but maybe not. What happened was our young friend Anthony Stoic came first in clock in the World Championships. Brendan Dunnigan came second. Volodymyr Kapustyansky or something like that. That's a hard name when it's not written down in front of me. Vladimir came third. What happened afterwards? They found that Brendan and Anthony both had missed scrambles by 1 tick, probably caused by transit, speculative, but probably caused by transit. They were supposed to get the chance to check their scrambles, even though it's not their responsibility, in my opinion. And their scrambles but they were not able to check their scrambles. As a result, Anthony went from first to third. Brendan, funnily enough, stayed in second where he was, and Volo went up to first place. Then Volo said that he had been paid $1,000 for the first place prize. That's kind of where we got up to. Then Alexandra, Anthony's mum, made a statement saying they were appealing it. That's as far as we got until this statement, okay? That's pretty much where we are. I feel like I've covered I feel like that's everything that happened pretty much. Quite astounding that I remembered all that. That's not really like me, eh? I guess it just happened, so it's still fairly fresh. But here we are. This is the statement from Cubing USA. We were recently informed of 2 missed scrambles affecting the clock podium at the Rubik's WCA World Championship 25, affecting Anthony Stoyek and Brendan Dunnigan. We apologise for the impact that these had on the affected competitors who did not deserve to have their chances at a World Championship taken away by a mistake outside of their control. It was unfair to them and they deserve better. Quick reminder, this is not the WCA, this is Cubing USA. Important to remember that. WCA are still in the process of appeal for this. So this is Cubing USA. One aspect of this competition that aimed to address this issue but which failed to do so was retroactive scramble checking. This was introduced after other notable missed scrambles affected podium results at previous Cubing USA majors. So we notified competitors that they could check scrambles with an organizer after all final rounds. However, we learned later that some competitors, including Anthony, were denied the opportunity to do so. So like I've talked about before, a system was set up and the hope was that this system would just band-aid the problem. It doesn't fix the regs that cause this problem, but it band-aids the problem for this competition. Unfortunately, the band-aid fell off. I won't continue that metaphor, I'll get lost. But the Band-Aid fell off. This is, as James has just said, Cubing USA extremely based with this announcement. I'm inclined to agree because they have straight up said it was unfair to them and they deserve better. Based. And one aspect of this competition that aimed to address the issue, but which failed to do so. Based. Absolutely based. I love that. I do appreciate this from Cubing USA. I am interested in what the WCA feels about this statement being made by Cubing USA, because I feel like it's potentially a little bit at odds with what Carter said in the forum post, because Carter said there was retroactive scramble checking, which was available to everyone. Carter's, which I felt was a little bit victim blamey, because the WCA's mission is to lots of competitions under fair and equal conditions. So it's my opinion that it's the responsibility of the WCA to provide those fair and equal conditions. It's not the responsibility of the competitors to make sure that those conditions are fair and equal. But in their defense, I'm not having a go. The WCA, I think, are looking at it, and I'm hopeful that we're going to see a little amendment to the regs changes that are happening this year to try and deal with this. Anyway, I shall carry on. We notified competitors that they could check scrambles with an organizer after all final rounds. However, we learned later that some competitors, including Anthony, were denied the opportunity to choose to do so. There were 2 circumstances during the competition which led to post-final scramble checkings not being available. 1. Particularly during the earlier finals, including clock, there was miscommunication among our volunteer team about exactly how and where competitors could check scrambles, which led to Anthony and other clock finalists being told they could not check scramble. This is retroactive turbo based. It's not great that this happened. I don't love that it happened. It's a shame that their system fell apart. I think the system wasn't great. That's demonstrated now. But this is really cool from Cubing USA. They're going, hey, you know what? We screwed up here. And we miscommunicated with our volunteers. They're saying, hey, we screwed up, and they're also giving an explanation as to why they screwed up or how they screwed up. 2, shortly before 3x3 finals, the organizer handling these scramble checks was pulled away to help prep for 3x3 finals. So their resources were stretched and there were communication issues. Based. I mean, not great that happened, but very cool that they are just being really transparent and clear in their explanation as to what happened. So it's clear to us that our planning for this aspect of the competition was not adequate and that better planning ahead of time is essential. Again, turbo based. That being said, they actually used the word band-aiding. I must have remembered that from reading it before. That being said, post-round scramble checking is only a band-aid regarding addressing a larger issue. The current regulations around misscrambles are unfair to top competitors, punishing them for circumstances far outside their control. Turbo, mega, ultra based. Even if these misscrambles had been caught at the competition, Anthony and Brendan would have had to do a replacement solve on a new scramble under intensely higher pressure than any other competitor experienced. Not fair. That is not fair in equal conditions. This would have taken place after potentially an hour of uncertainty about their results. Imagine. These would have been much more unequal conditions than keeping the original results, as the missed scrambles were only one move off the scrambles everyone else received. As has been demonstrated by various clever clock solvers, it was not an advantageous missed scramble. It was a disadvantageous misscramble. This particularly in the case of Anthony. I can't remember if Brendan had the exact same situation. You know? So I will sort of I think I'll just jump in with a bit of devil's advocacying here right now. Carter and the regs team, their job is to uphold the regs as they exist. And they did do that job. They were told by Cubing USA that there was a Band-Aid issue for this. There was a Band-Aid solution for this competition, for this problem. And as far as they knew at the time of Carter making the announcement, that was followed. They do not deserve, certainly Carter doesn't deserve, and anyone on the team, no person deserves hate for this. It is a stinky situation. Unfortunately, the regs are a little bit not fit for purpose in this exact scenario. Hopefully they're looking at. So just a little bit of benefit of the doubt and whatnot there. The current policies create extremely unfair environments for top competitors. We aspire for a level of perfection incapable of being achieved by humans, even when we limit volunteers to highly qualified WCA delegates and introduce additional steps like proactive and retroactive scramble checking. True, I agree. We should not punish competitors for the inevitability of human error outside of their control. Cannot disagree with that either. This is a great statement, actually. It really is very, very good. Furthermore, current policies discourage top competitors from sharing their solves online, which can harm the WCA's growth. That's a terrible outcome for speedcubing. I want to know who wrote this because it's very good. Moving forward, we would like to state the following. Now, this is where we have some actual new information. We will be awarding all 3 finishers on the clock podium the first place prize money of $1,000. So, for those of us going... and I've spoken about this with Chris last week, with Chris Mills last week. We spoke about, like, what on earth are they going to do? Are they going to have to take Volo's money back? What are they doing? How are they? This is a mess. How is this going to be managed in a physical sense and also in a PR sense? This is terrible. You can't ask for that prize money back, but we have clarity now. Turns out, I guess WCA wasn't issuing the prize money. That was the responsibility of Cubing USA to do that. And that kind of makes sense, actually, because they wouldn't be any comp with prize money. It's the organizers doing it, isn't it? So we will be awarding all 3 finishers on the clock podium the first place prize money of $1,000. Volo gets to keep his $1,000. Anthony gets his $1,000 for what it's worth. Brendan Dunnigan's the real winner in this situation because he changed from second to second. Nothing happened to Brendan's result, but he just made double prize money, so he's got to be feeling pretty good. I definitely of all three of them, I empathize in a very specific way with Brendan, because he's like, yeah, he got his miss scramble, his time changed. But he didn't change on the podium, nor did his prize money change. He just saw the first and second switching around him. So he's like, ooh, this is weird. And now he's just made double prize money as well. So he's like, okay, this is what's happening? So I love that. I love that for Brendan Dunnigan. Number 2 here, we welcome the WRC's statement that they are open to changes to the Miss Scramble policy. Same, Queen, same. We will be sending suggestions with the hope that the changes can be made in time for the 2026 championship season. So there we are. They are pushing for that change for the current reg round, which we're in just now. At future Cubing USA majors, including Rubik's and the Cubicle Cubing USA All-Stars 25, while the current policies stand, we will ensure that all competitors have an opportunity to check scrambles in all final rounds. Okay, so yeah, the Cubing USA at All Stars are going to have to be just like on to this. Like, you're going to need, if I may, Cubing USA. You don't need to listen to me, and frankly, you shouldn't listen to me. But I think you need staff dedicated to that job that cannot be pulled away. They are only doing that job. That would be my suggestion. And they probably are. I want to, because my memory is really bad, I just want to check All Stars 2025 schedule. I can't remember. Here we go. All Stars 2025. Let's have a look. So we do, yeah, I think it's every event, isn't it? So we've got Clonk in there again, you see? And old Bendy, I'm sure Bendy will be there. I can't say whether... Oh, we can check. Can't we? Is Volo going to be there? No Volo. Anthony... No Anthony Stojic. So at the moment, we've only got from the affected podium. Actually, we don't have Brendan. No, we don't. Okay. So, well, there is going to be Clock there, though. That was what I was looking for. 83 people signed up so far. James, I'll get your comments in a second. Let me just wrap this up. We welcome discussions with the Wumpkatu and organisers of any upcoming WCA Major Championships about the issues that arose at this competition. That's awesome as well. Being able to be like, hey, you know what? We have been through this. We have dealt with this. We are happy to talk to people about how we can proactively prevent issues surrounding Miss Scrambles. And it's signed the organising team of Rubik's WCA World Championship 2025. So, there it is, everyone. What are the big takeaways from this? Well, a big sort of fact takeaway is that everyone on the podium got their $1,000 dues, so that's good. Sorry, no, it's America, so it's Freedom Bucks. They got their 1,000 Freedom Bucks, which is a significant amount of money. But you know, it doesn't cover going to the championships by any of them probably. But that's Speedcubing, and I like that Cubing USA has been so happy to take some responsibility. I like that. I don't know the regs inside out enough to comment on the particular reg that needs to change. There's lots of ideas floating around for how we can fix this in the future. I think I probably align with Chris in so much as we need a little bit of leniency. We need to... Actually, I tell you what I align with is this statement. I align with this particular... Where was the part? Here we are. we aspire, and I think what they've missed out there potentially is in the current regs, we aspire for a level of perfection incapable of being achieved by humans, even when we limit volunteers to highly qualified WCA delegates and introduce additional steps like proactive and retroactive scramble checking. I 100% agree with that statement. The regs are asking for something that is unfair, and that's leading to outcomes which are objectively unfair. You know what I mean? So I think this is a great statement from Cubing USA. Glad to hear about the money. I am very happy that WCA are looking at this. I'm hopeful they might come up with something for the regs cycle. I think that would be good. Or even if they can't come up with it for the reg cycle, I think they need to make something happen next year. Wherever it happens, they need to make it happen. They need to set a date and they need to change it and they need to put something forward. I know there's lots of people making suggestions to the WCA and the WRC and all that kind of stuff. I think Chris said on millisecond, we'll have a look at millisecond in a minute. I think it's a good... James, you freaking mind reader. I was just thinking, what was that team that Chris suggested on millisecond? So Chris has an idea of appointing a team of high-level cubers whose job it is to consult with the WRC on misscramble incidents to determine whether the competitor gained a significant advantage. I think that's a great idea. I like that a lot. So... and he volunteered himself for that as well. It's just like, I guess you could have, so what this would mean I suppose you could have a rule where, you know, it's sent to there was a misscramble. Let's say let's say Anthony's misscramble was identified and it was sent to a team of high-level competitors. It would be high-level clonkers in this situation. I suppose it would have to be, or it could be, would it have to be event specific? I suppose it would, wouldn't it? Dylan actually spoke about how they did that with FMC because they didn't have the expertise on the WRC to check into the Kalindu stuff in FMC back last year, remember? Lost my train of thought. I like that idea from Chris. Thank you, James, for reading my mind. Appreciate that. So that's the update so far, everyone. That's where we've got to in the story of the Clock World Championship podium. Pretty cool, hey? Pretty exciting stuff. I'll be excited to see how that develops. Shall we? Do you want to take a look at STUCUBE's video right now? Would that be a good time to have a look at it? We've got a few things that are kind of adjacent to this. Let's have a. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's do a quick poll. STUCUBE said I could watch this. It only came out yesterday, but he said, yeah, go ahead and watch it. Watch the STUCUBE clock vid. Yes or no? Oh, it's already got that. There we go. There you go. You can have a little vote there, everyone. Let me know if you want to watch. Shall we watch the STUCUBE clock video together? It's not particularly long. While you're doing that, I'm going to... Oh, I'm going to hit the wrong button. Then I'm going to hit the right one. And then I'm going to go to speed cubing. Ugh. I'm going to fat hand my way across to SpeedCubing TV to have a look at the millisecond podcast. And if they haven't timestamped it, I am going to tear them to shreds. Oh, it's timestamped. Okay. Shred, tearing, rescinded. I wanted to look at a bit of this. Clock podium, how do we solve it? So it starts 15 minutes of this. So I think I would like to take a look at this because I think these guys have got some good insight around this. I'm getting a big yes for the STUCUBE video. So let's do the STUCUBE video first, and then we'll come back here and look at the millisecond because we love that. All right, here we go. STUCUBE. It's a great thumbnail as well. How are we going? Are we juicing, Stu? 10k views in 15 hours. That is not juicing for a STUCUBE video, but I'm sure it'll get there. Okay, let's take a look because this is some cinema as always by STUCUBE. Wonderful stuff. As always, he never disappoints. So, intro. STUCUBE has spoken. STUCUBE has made a video about the Clock World Championship situation, everyone. And we're going to take a look at that right now. Let's see what STUCUBE said. It came out yesterday, so it's still pretty fresh. So I want you all, all of you, if you haven't done it yet, go to STUCUBE's channel, give it a like, watch it if you haven't watched it, leave a comment saying, Mike forced me to make this comment. Do it, all right? Here we go.
There's going to be a D-move skip here.
Here's Bendy. Bendy D.
This is the moment Brendan Dunnigan thought he was the Rubik's Clock World Champion, because little did he know, that was about to change in the most controversial way possible.
This was a wild final to watch. I freaking loved Worlds. I freaking loved watching Worlds this year. I've never enjoyed watching a WCA event as much as I enjoyed Worlds. Watching those finals, all the finals were amazing. And this Clock final was wacky. I think I spoke about it because I was doing like summary videos during Worlds this year, and I think I spoke about it in that. It was epic. It was such cinema.
Because of the unreal upset.
And it was an inevitability that there would be a STUCUBE vid on it. I knew when I was watching it. I may have even messaged him or someone going, yeah, this is STUCUBE fodder.
To fall victim to, but because of an official decision that would turn the entire community against itself. On the final solve
We're eating
of the
ourselves.
World Championship, out of nowhere, 16th in the world Anthony Stoyak stole the world title from Brendan by 200ths of a second. Complete chaos broke out, and in the greatest moment of his career, Anthony...
Shout out STUCUBE for knowing how to say Stoyak. It took me a long time. Longer than I'm willing to admit to remember that there's no way in hell it would be pronounced like a J.
Had just done the impossible.
He is the world champion. He will be world champion for 2 more years.
Just
Ooh.
one problem.
Will he?
That's not true. Anthony Stoyak wasn't the world champion, and neither was Brendan Dunnigan, because an official decision was just made 55 days after the world championship.
It was that long. It was 55 days.
That decided everyone was going to lose. On August 28th, to the
that
community's
font.
absolute disbelief, third-place finisher Włodzimir Kapustyanski had become the new world
Kapustyanski.
champion. Anthony had been...
Yeah, there we are. So Bandy stays in the middle, doubles his prize money somehow. Shout out Brendan Dunnigan. Making bank. That was the switch. Volo went up the top, Stoyak went down the bottom, Bandy stayed in the middle, going, huh?
been completely stripped of his title 2 months after winning it. But wait, if Anthony isn't world champion...
And if Alexandra Anthony's mom is to be believed, which I have no reason not to, she didn't really know that this was happening until it happened. And I believe that's why it's been so particularly egregious for them. Doofus, why do they have the Ukraine flag for Volo? He was representing Ukraine, has recently switched to the US. I think he was representing the US at Worlds, technically. Actually, I think he was US. Sir, are you well actually in STUCUBE? How dare you?
It should at least be Brendan, right? The rankings say he's
You are correct, I think.
next in line. Well, it turns out both Brendan Dunnigan and world champion Anthony Stoyak were faced with the exact same disqualification for something they had zero control of.
No.
You see, on the second solve of the World Championship final, as Anthony's clock was being delivered to his station...
Watch that man's hands. Are you watching his hands?
It was moved a single tick off of its original state.
Watching your hands as well, sir.
That's the
I'm
difference
not really. I'm not throwing shade at either the runner or the judge.
between a clock that looks like this and one that looks like this.
Boo!
In speed solving, this means virtually nothing. In fact, Anthony's puzzle had actually now been made one move harder to solve.
And
than
there's the
everyone
issue.
else's. You would think this would be a disadvantage, but it was actually
Wouldn't
this
you?
very solve that would...
If our regs were amenable to, you know, logic, Is that too harsh? If the regs were open to the reality of human error and human feelings and emotions and all that kind of stuff, then we would just be able to go, oh, well, we made it harder so that the solve stands. Although that does bring up an interesting question. If the same situation happened and Anthony had lost to Brendan, would Anthony have a case to say, hey, my solve was harder, I should get to do it again, or I should get something? No one said this would be easy. No one said this would be easy.
Would go on to win him the World
3.14.
Championship.
A little cheeky
At
pie.
least, that's what he thought, because the regulations did not agree. Section 1H clearly states that every single competitor must receive the exact same scramble to ensure fairness.
Sure.
And this tiny shift that happened when the clock was set down on the table had made Anthony...
Well, sir, maybe when it was set down on the table. It may well have been when it went into the cover. Let's not take shots at the judge here, sir.
Anthony's scramble a millimeter different from everyone else's. 99% of the time, this problem has a simple fix. The solve with the misscramble would be removed, and the solver would get an extra attempt to make up for it.
Oh, I was going to say 10-year ban for the scrambler.
Problem is,
So
Anthony
we're not quite aligned on that one.
was never
My
given
bad.
this extra attempt. Because the error wasn't found until 2 months after the World Championship,
Who snitched? We still don't know that. Who snitched on our boy Anthony? Who snitched? We have a snitch among us,
the
everyone.
footage Anthony had uploaded to YouTube himself, the Regulations Committee now had an
There's Stu.
unprecedented decision to make. They were left with just two choices. Allow the misscramble and don't punish the world champion for something they had no control over, or follow
Seems
the
reasonable.
regulations.
Ugh.
State that if a misscramble isn't immediately noticed, someone can find it 2 months later on your YouTube channel. and
Seems
delete the World
unreasonable.
Championship. So with all of this laid out and the consequences fully understood, the WRC decided to remove Anthony's solve entirely, along with his world championship title.
Don't love
And
that.
there was nothing he could do about it. The community
And Iron, I feel like making a video on a bunch of famous misscrambles could be interesting. I'm actually working on that script right now with someone. It's going to be my little holiday project, is to finish writing that script. I had someone find all the I've had someone find do the research for me, which is really cool. And now I'm going to try and script it up and see if I can find all the videos and stuff. Chang, new horrifying thought. If the regs stand as it is, people can sabotage top competitors, yeah, and purposely make a move during transit. You're absolutely right. That's a ban. Now we're 10-year banning.
was having none of it, and they were very eager to let the committee know that.
Yeah,
If this
that's fair.
92% disapproval rate said anything,
Oh, I didn't see this poll. I haven't voted in that.
it was going to be all-out war. And for good reason. Anthony had traveled 5,000 miles to pull off perhaps the greatest upset in cubing history, just to have it taken away because he decided to record his solves.
I know, you took away our cinema. You took away our cinema, WCA. You did give us slop, all right? Or you gave me the chance to make an awful lot of slop, for which I am very grateful. But you took away the story. You took away the plot. You can't be messing with the plot like that. You can't just be messing with the plot like that. James, a video concept I've been thinking about for a while would be like the best timeline. A history of the WCA if famous incidents hadn't happened, like miss scrambles, cube drops, learning, etc. I like that. That's a very cool concept. What if Kalindu was never caught? If Jaden, whose 6x6 turned into a fluid? Who was that had that 6x6 pop where it just turned into liquid? If that had never happened, if Felix had never had that corner twist. Oh, Keatoning. Oh, yeah, true. If Keatoning didn't exist. I don't like the Keaton stuff. So for those of you who don't know, the Keaton is essentially what that means. Let's say, for example, I set the world record. All right, this is a really big stretch here, but let's say I set a world record. I set the 3x3 world record, a 3.02 single. And then I got that in a competition at New Zealand. And then Chang is competing in wherever Chang lives, America somewhere. and Chang gets a 3.01 on the same day, I will never have had officially on my WCA profile a world record. It would only have been Chang's world record. That's what a Keaton means, just for the record, everyone. I really like that idea. That's a cool video idea.
Joke. This is unfair. We are actively destroying cubing from your own. This decision, this situation is not to make anyone happy with this result. I mean, even Antony's mom was on the front lines of this
Mom
protest.
spotted.
It had gotten that bad. All of the outrage.
You know it's bad when mum's in the forum giving it the beans, you know?
Rage was over the fact that not only could Antony do nothing about the decision itself, but even when he attempted to check the scrambles directly after the final, he was apparently denied access to them.
Womp womp. So that's what we've just talked about with the Cubing USA statement. They had a band-aid solution and the band-aid fell off because Antony was not able to check his scrambles because I guess in hindsight they didn't have enough staff on to actually cover the band-aid scenario.
WRC claimed the exact opposite. This, of course.
And there we are. Yeah, that's the WRC statement was, and I have to believe that they were just working on that information. They thought that their system that was put in place had worked, so they had to believe that it had worked at the time of making that statement. So I don't hold anything against Carter or the WRC for making that, you know.
Meant that someone had to be lying, and slowly but surely, other competitors came forward saying they were also denied access to scrambles.
Even Bendy.
Meaning if all these eyewitnesses were telling the truth, the WRC's statement was simply false. And even despite official delegates backing up all of these claims, his solve was still removed as a DNF, completely flipping the rankings. August 28th had somehow left us with a situation where not only does Antony lose, but nobody wins. Even Volodymyr Kapustyanski, the new world champion, said he's fully expecting it to be reverted.
Was Volo being a bit naive in thinking of it that it was going to be reverted? Although I feel like the feeling has changed a little bit. I'm not sure if Chris is still in chat, but I feel like maybe the feeling has changed because when the appeal first came up, it was just like, ooh, it's not got much of a chance objectively, the WRC has done their job correctly by the letter of their job description and by the letter of the regs, which is their job to uphold. James says the real winner is Mike because he's got all this slop fodder, and I'm inclined to agree. I'm the real winner in this situation. That's why you got to be making slop, everyone. You got to slop it up. When the eating's good, you got to get to the trough and slop it up.
Feel like an actual world championship at all, because while the WRC is
so what I was saying, is Volo, was he naive at the start, thinking that it's going to be overturned, or has our feeling changed now? Do we feel more like it's going to be overturned? I know the WCA does not like applying things retroactively. That's a generalization that I'm making. Open to criticism. I know they don't like to do things retroactively, so I feel like even if the regs change, I still think they're not likely to make Antony the world champion. I think Volo's probably going to keep that title. I think, like I've said, what would be like the ultra-based move by Volo would be to refuse the title. That would be epic if he was to just be like, no, I reject this title. I refuse to accept the title of world champion in clock. And either there's no one that's world champion, or Antony and Volo share it, or all three on the podium share it. They're joint world champions. That would be nice. That would be a very wholesome Tingman approved outcome. That's some wholesome shit right there, right? That's some wholesome stuff. If all three of them were joint world champions, that would be a good outcome for me.
Simply following the regulations.
Let's just jump
championship at all, because while the WRC is simply following the regulations,
fair and equal conditions. That is the WCA's. Here's my opinion. Mike opinion alert. I need like a sound or a banner or something. There's a Mike opinion alert. Fair and equal conditions Providing those fair and equal conditions is the responsibility of the WCA, not the competitors. That is my opinion, and my opinion only.
The community has made it clear that these regulations don't at all align with their goal of making competitions fair, and they never have. Perfectly exemplified just last year when an entire European Championship final had to be redone because every single solve was a misscramble.
If I've been told about this, then I 100% forgot about it. I didn't realize that such a high stakes round had been just biffed.
Literally all of them. Years worth of work and a perfect performance in the one moment that matters, all for your win to be cancelled because of something you had zero control over. The situation at this year's World Championship has highlighted a much bigger problem, the single biggest issue in all of competitive cubing. If this ruling is allowed to stand, it sets an alarming precedent that a competition is never truly over. Your results can always be taken away from you at any given moment, and there is nothing you can do about it. How long will it take for us to realize that the concept of a perfect rule doesn't exist?
That kind of echoes exactly what the Cubing USA were saying in their statement, doesn't it? We aspire for a level of perfection incapable of being achieved by humans. So STUCUBE is very aligned with Cubing USA. James, Volo can't exactly refuse the WCA's official stance, and what it says on the website don't really depend on what Volo thinks. No, of course, it would be symbolic. It wouldn't. He can't just make a statement and have it removed from the database. The database would still show him, but he could. I think it would be the baller move to just be like, I refuse. I'm not your world champion. I refuse to accept the title of world champion. It would be purely symbolic. I concede.
No matter how hard you try to craft a single statement that covers every possible outcome,
be kind of cool
it
though.
Simply won't happen. So logically, looking at these situations on a case-to-case basis isn't favoritism, it's simply getting back to the original point of the rules themselves, to make things fair. And the only way to do that is to be open to change, something this decision seems very much so afraid to do.
Yeah, the decision is the decision that's fair, and on a micro level, the decision you could say is very rigid and seems very stuffy and like, oh well actually it feels very actually by the WCA. Actually the rules say this, and they're rules. That's what rules are supposed to do. Rules are your like, they are your peak well actually. But in the defense of the WCA, I feel like they are making moves, and I feel like we read that on the statement. We welcome discussions. And didn't they say that... Oh, gosh, I've lost this now. I feel like they did acknowledge that the WCA are listening. I like that.
There's no question the WRC had good intentions, but that doesn't matter when the decision quite clearly does more harm than good.
I would have hated to be in that room. I would have hated to be in that room making that call. And I do empathize with the WRC. Because they knew. You cannot convince me that the WRC didn't know what was going to happen when that decision came out. They had to have known. They had to have known. They're not stupid. These are smart people. What's up, Josh?
In
Welcome
2024, we saw a huge investment
sliding. Never heard of it.
Record using a technique that was clearly illegal, and the rules were only changed in a way that allowed the illegal world record to stand, whilst also banning everyone from ever using the technique again.
Yeah, was that the outcome? Is that really what happened? Man, my memory's bad. Is that still the world record? No, it's been beat since then, hasn't it? Hold on a minute. Fact check. What the heck is the 2x2 single? No, oh no, that was the average. Is that one? Is that the slidey one? The 0.88? No, he had another one after that. Oh, someone's going to remind me in the chat once this finally is broadcast in about 10 seconds time. But I can't remember what the outcome is that. Chang, I thought they took it off. Yeah, I feel like they took it off and he beat it. Yeah, that's my recollection of it as well. But I think it took them a minute. Didn't it? Initially, they were going to let it stand. Jeez, I've forgotten my own lore. Can someone go back and watch like 10 of my videos about sliding, please? And then tell me what I said.
Whether these decisions are the WRC's or not, we're always left with the same conclusion. The rules are the rules, and there's nothing you can do to change them. You'd think that...
Oh, doofus, it was 0.78. 0.78 was removed. I've literally forgotten that whole thing.
Something has to give. But for now, the rules aren't changing, and Anthony Stoyak is not the world champion, and the world will not stop talking about it until he is. So smash that subscribe button if you want Anthony.
Like and subscribe. Go and see STUCUBE and subscribe. Another great video. Another great STUCUBE video, of course, always. I mean, what else do we expect from STUCUBE? Making cinema about cinema. Honestly, really good stuff. I am struggling to remember the Yihang Wang situation. Is my chat daring to suggest that Stu got something wrong? Is this the world we're living in now, where STUCUBE is getting accused of getting something wrong? I feel like Chang's right, though. I feel like it stood, and then everyone went apeshit, and then it was removed. Is that not what happened? Yeah, it is what happened, because that's when I think that's when I came up with the concept of the emergency Cubecast video, and I was just like, right, I'm just going to sit down and yap, because a statement came out outside of my normal broadcasting schedule. When will the WCA learn that they need to make all statements the day before I go live? And no exceptions. Thank you very much. This will not be tolerated. Can I get that in the regs? All WCA statements will be made the day before Mike goes live. Thank you. Jacob saying they made another decision and started DNFing Sauls retroactively. James, Stu didn't get it wrong. He just didn't give a full explanation. Okay, all right. Valid. That's cool. We're not coming at our man. Chang, I mean, they did retroactively DNF all of Marcin Zalewski. I don't know, man. I can't remember that. I don't know who that is. 3-blind cheater. Oh, that's... If STUCUBE hasn't made a video about it, I don't know about it. If he's made a video, maybe I'll go and watch it, but I can't remember. Where should we go next? Do we want to keep rolling with the clock stuff and go and listen to Chris and Dilly Millie? Or do something else? Let's start a poll. What's next? Millisecond. More clonk or something else? There you go. You can vote on that. More clonk or something else, everyone. Those are your choices. The something else we've got is talking about Cube for Speed potentially quitting YouTube, a new MGC Square 1. I want to talk about STUCUBE on JoeBartolozzi's Twitch. We can look at that real quick because there's not a whole lot to talk about there. Just that it happened, really. So STUCUBE messaged me about this, actually. It was pretty exciting. He just sent me this message of a clip of the very end of this stream. There is some fruity language in this stream, by the way, so just fair warning. There is a little bit of fruity language, so just understand that. And I can't. There's probably some fruity stuff in the chat as well. So in fact, I might even just hide the chat behind my chat. You guys keep it wholesome, all right? Oh, I can just hide it. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I don't have to have the unhinged chat going off. So here we go. We're just gonna watch a little bit of this to demonstrate what's happening here. Oh, Twitch.
So unbreakable. You have to start.
So this is JoeBartolozzi, 2.3 million followers. This has been viewed 133,000 times. Big non-cubing audience watching some epic cube content by our man STUCUBE. How about that?
Record.
Let's go.
What happens when your world record is so unbreakable, you have to start paying your competition to try and beat it? Because 30-time Rubik's Cube world record holder Stanley Chappell got so tired of winning,
GOAT.
he did exactly
30 times world record holder in the Rubik's Cube? What? How do you have 30 world records for a Rubik's Cube?
got so
This is such a good demonstration of what happens in a non-cuber's brain with a non-cuber audience when they are presented with storytelling like Stu can do, and with like what's going on in cubing, with a cubing controversy. So what happens is Joe kind of reveals that he's previously been a cuber, like he knows how to solve a Rubik's Cube, which I think is just like epic lore. And when I was watching this back as well, people in his chat started talking smack about how they could solve as well, and I was like, I freaking knew it. Everyone's had a go. Everyone wants to see this stuff.
So tired of winning, he did exactly that.
Being Stanley Chapel is an unfair advantage.
To the point where
Iconic
he didn't
line.
just put up a bounty for anyone who could break his world record. He knew that would be impossible. Instead, he offered to pay anyone who could even come within 8 whole seconds of him.
8 seconds? How does he hold a world record by 8 seconds in the Rubik's Cube?
This is where he like starts to work out that it's 4 blind and that it's a different thing.
I used to be a cuber myself.
I love that. That's so good.
For a certain period of time. The summer I learned
JoeBartolozzi, cuber confirmed.
I lost all my talents, but I used to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube in like fucking 58 seconds. I was not one of those guys that's like,
hey, listen, you were getting it done. My first competition, I think I was doing like 45s. You were getting it done. You were comp ready, Joe. That's what I'm here to tell you today. You were comp ready. You were just one step away. Can we have a Joe cubing arc? Come on, bring it back. Bring it back.
Bink. 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 And they do that. I can't do that. I would be like,
That's pretty accurate.
and I'd be able to solve it in like a minute. Under a minute would be the best. And now I don't remember at all. But when I did cube, I knew there was different versions, right? They have like a weird triangle ones. They
Weird triangle ones, confirmed.
3x3, 4x4. They have blind.
So he doesn't know at this point that the video is about blind. There's a really good reaction. I won't watch too much more of this, but there's a really good reaction when he realizes that we're talking about the 4 blind record. I wonder if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah, this is about Stanley's. Is this it here?
A dream of a solve that wouldn't just be a world record, but that would kill
Bro,
the
he memorized the cube. I can't. I don't think I would ever solve a 4x4. Let me Google that.
Okay, he goes down a rabbit hole of like trying to find an average what it takes the average person to solve a 4x4.
4x4 blindfolded had already reached its human limit. China's
Is there any?
I've missed it. There's a spot where it's revealed to him that you can that we're talking about 4 blind, and his reaction is really, really funny. And I suggest, obviously, I'm going to suggest that you go and have a look at it. That's the link to the VOD there. You can go and watch it on Joe's Twitch channel. I don't think he's got a YouTube channel as well. Joe. Burped. Gross. Excuse me. But I don't think he has. I don't think he has put the video up yet about the SpeedCube world record. Hopefully he will. I think if he does, that will be, honestly, that'll be pretty big for cubing. You know, that'll be a little bump. That's going to be a real nice little content bump for us. And that's the reason I bring this up. Because this is massive. Right at the end of watching the video, he subscribes to Stu. And he's just like, yo, that was cinema, bro. Yeah, I want more of that. So I feel like, and I was chatting to Stu about it. And I was like, do you reckon he might take a look at another one? Are you in touch with him? Can you recommend the next one? And Stu had ideas about what he might want Joe to look at next. Because I think that's such a exciting little bump for cubing to get in front of an audience like that. And the way that his chat were talking about cubing, I was watching you, JoeBartolozzi chat. I saw you in there flexing. So I wonder if this is maybe the start of something. I wonder. Anyway, good on you, Joe, for taking a look at that. I, on behalf of Speedcubing, appreciate it. As Speedcubing's designated content spokesperson today, designated by myself. Cheers, brother. Appreciate it. What's my poll saying? It's pretty split. 44 to 56 for Clonk and something else. That kind of counted as something else, didn't it? Let's take a look at... Let's take a look at Cube for Speed. All right, I want to talk about Cube for Speed. I want to talk about Cube for Speed, and then I probably will look at the other clock stuff as well. All right, because it's my show and I can do what I want. And I want to talk about their podcast because I like new content. What am I doing? What am I doing? Cube for Speed. Because while we're kind of on the subject of content, Cube content, and Cube coming or going, and being more popular and being less popular, and Cube for Speed here has been making some posts, and I think has potentially quit. And we're going to take a look at his statements, and we're going to take a look at his views, because I think they tell kind of a story. So here he goes. 8 days ago, as of September 2025, this channel is no longer active. So this channel right now is Cube for Speed. And he's not saying that he's quitting, but he is saying that this channel is going to be mothballed. As of September 2025, this channel is no longer active. I will upload the last 4 shorts, which I haven't uploaded on this channel, and there will be no more videos in the near future. The reason for this has been addressed in my recent posts and comments there. I might upload a few videos after the very long time, but I don't expect them to be a lot. There will still be a slim chance that I somehow find cubing interesting again and decide to continue uploading on this channel, and if that is the case, I will delete this post. Anyway, thanks all for your support throughout the years, which made my 9-year cubing journey worthwhile. So... a number of things to talk about here. So he is talking about this channel. He has mentioned that he's not finding cubing interesting again. But as let's just take a look down some further posts and see what else we can find. Honestly, I'm tired of making these same stupid videos. Have you witnessed that cubing has gotten a lot less popular? I haven't voted in it. Let's vote and reveal the answer. What do we think? Yes or no? Have you witnessed that cubing has got a lot less popular? It's got 5,000 votes, so my vote's not going to make a huge difference. It's a huge difference. But I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say no, I haven't noticed. Oh, well, look at that. 86% of this 5,000 person sample size has noticed that cubing has gotten a lot less popular. James in the chat, lol, not exactly going to be sorry to see him go. I don't watch his content. I have watched his Cube for Speed 2 videos when he's done unboxings and stuff. I absolutely don't watch his main channel videos. I find them... What do I find them? I just don't care. They're just not interesting for me. They have literally no substance as far as I can tell. He does have an audience, a huge audience for them. People are really into it, but like I just don't care about this content, because let's look further down here at one of his and no shade, he's done very well. Like, he's done better than I have, far out. He does so many juicer videos. He's made so much money on YouTube, and if that's the success metric we want to go by, then he's incredible. He's incredible. But then, for me personally, as a 42-year-old man, what videos should I make next? POV, you learn full ZB. POV, you get a GAN 2x2. When your cubes keep getting bigger and bigger. When your Rubik's Cube becomes soft. Rubik's Speed 2x2, but it's slow. What colors your GAN cube? POV, hair gets into your Rubik's Cube. I don't care about any of that. I don't care. Nothing about that excites me, because this content's not made for me. It's made for little kids. It's made for non-cubers and a beginner cubers, but in a way that's not like really conducive to actually getting them into cubing. It's brain rot content made by a bad person, James. Yeah, no, he has said unsavory things. He's been straight up racist in Discords and things like that. I don't know him personally. I don't have any sort of allegiance or anything like that. But I also, because I don't know him personally, I'm not going to hate on him. But he said some things that I don't like, for sure. Absolutely, that is true. It is true that he said things that I think are horrible. But I cannot deny the fact that he's created a really, really successful YouTube channel. And this one's really interesting, right? From being disappointed with 1 million views to having a couple 100,000 views in a video to only having like 100,000 views in a video to struggling to get to 100,000 views per video to now struggling to get 20,000 views per video. Views have fallen so much to a point where it's not worth my time making these videos and there is no purpose making them. Plus, cubing has been increasingly boring over the years, as at the end of the day, it's just a toy for kids. All right, now you're getting off track. That's your opinion. Might consider stop uploading for quite a while to move on and focus on other actual things in life. All right, now you're just being salty. So, yeah, his views have changed significantly. They have changed significantly, and we can demonstrate that just by looking at his channel and going to the latest videos. Okay? 14K, 15K, 22K, 27K, 12K, 15K, 23, 31, 35, 29, 54, 13, 38, 16, 21. They've been at like 20-ish for a while. 77, okay. When was the last time we had one over 1 million? 27, 18, 63, 61, 158. Here we go. Look, here's where it happened. 3 months ago. 61, 158, 67, 66, 126, 18, womp. 31, 687. 22, 1.6 mil. There we go. That was our last million. 1.6 million 3 months ago. I don't know the content well enough to say whether he has changed his video style particularly, but he does have a lot of shorts. So like, I want to see when his oldest short is from. So his oldest short has 31 million views. And how do I know when this is from? Description? November 6, 2021. So there goes a theory. He has been juicing shorts since 2021. So the shorts did not affect his views, it's probably fair to say, in the last 3 months. But I'm just trying to work out what we're seeing here. So I think, so what do we know? Cube for Speed's views have gone down significantly recently. James, my understanding is that recent changes in the YouTube algorithm has killed views for a fair number of creators. That's to do with verification and how they're tracking views on desktops. And that's only really happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been watching stuff about that as well, because my views are down in the last couple of weeks as well. They're down this week because I think just my content was so regs heavy, it wasn't that interesting. And that's fair. I have ups and downs. But Cube for Speed's drop off is going back like months now. Because he used to, if you go, let's just give it a quick, let's spin the wheel and just go back a fair bit. Like, so like 3.4 million, 200,000, 53K. They're all over the place. 882K, 82K, 240K, 12 million, 96K, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000, 1.5 million. So 2 years ago was when he was peaking. 900K, 4.6 milli, 800K, 4 milli, half a milli, nearly 1 million. Like, this is when he was peaking. He must have been making so much freaking money. So much freaking money. There definitely are some changes in the alg recently, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to see, is this only happening to Cube for Speed? So let's go to let's find some juicer creators Who are the big ones, right? Let's go have a look at Tingman. Absolutely no shade on Tingman. This is not an attack on the Ting. I'm just going to look at his videos and whether we can see a similar kind of drop-off, okay? Because when he launched his Patreon, he talked about the fact that there was a drop-off. Here we go. Let's just go through them. So 73, 44, 43, 91, 20, 300k, 114, 43, 32, 32, 60, 19, 10, 105, 38, 69, 66, 200k. There's not really a pattern here, is there? 56, 24, 478. Oosh. So that's a biggie. 500,000. 2 500,000s in a row. Bro was paying the rent that month. Dang. 100k, 250k, 300k, 38k, 65k, 500k, 144k. But let's go back. Let's go back a couple of years and compare, just like we did with. So this is saying 2 years ago. So 40, 20, 309, 17, 55, 16, 1.2 mil. 300k, 121, 34, 13, 48. So actually his views are like, you know, kind of roughly sort of the same, really. There's a 500,000 there. Lovely. We'll love to see that. 200k, 405k. So, like on the surface, I don't see the same pattern in Tingman's views. Let's go to, here's another juicer. Let's go to Cubehead, hey? Let's go to Cubehead, who has changed his style, so there's a bit of a variable in here as well. But let's go like 402, 106, 76, 62, 168, 58. Let's go back to, this is kind of where is this where the tutorial arc starts? Yeah, let's go back here. So 6 months ago, 197, 145, 251, 100k, 126, 297, 113, 509, we juicing, 757, we juicing, 1.2 milli. Oh my god, this was a good run a year ago. Holy hell. 1.2 mil, 757, 509. I think in short, I'm not seeing the same pattern in Cubehead's videos, but I think what I'm seeing is, if I was to just take this on Cube for speed, I think I'm just seeing potentially his audience changing in what they want, because I can't really comment on whether he's changed what he's making. I don't think he has, but I think his audience potentially are growing up or are coming in for one YouTube video about cubing and then not coming back. Because what were his subs anyway? It was like 3 million or something. $3.1 million subscribers. But you know what? Maybe shorts could be slightly responsible. I avoid doing shorts on my channel because you see the stats at the top here. These are all fake. No data found. Don't talk smack to me. vidIQ. Give me my juice. Give me them juice. Yeah, here we go. Views are down over 7 days, but he hasn't done a video in, only 2 weeks. Estimated monthly earnings, $9,000 to $28,000. That's probably not accurate, though, because of shorts. Doofus, look at Soup Timmy. Soup Timmy is juicing at the moment. Is he growing? I suppose what I'm trying to do is determine, is there a turn down in interesting cube content, or is it just a turn down in cube for speed specifically? So 64, 777, 1.4 mil. 345, 1.8, 1.8. Oof. What a run. 2 1.8s in a row. After a 3.5 and a 10 mil. Oh my god. 4.1 mil, 10 mil, 3.5 mil, 1.8 mil, 1.8 mil. Whoo! And let's compare that to 2 years ago, just like we've done with everyone else. This is not scientific at all, everyone. Soup Timmy really hasn't done that much long form. 2 years ago was getting millions and millions of views. I think if anything, Soup Timmy has stayed at about the same level or got bigger with his long form, but his shorts game is just huge. But like 155 mil, 106 mil, 93 mil. These are where the views are coming from that are giving you this figure here, because these stats don't take into account shorts views. They don't discern shorts views away from long form views. But I wanted to show you guys the difference. Not only does I don't do shorts anymore on my channel, but I have done in the past. So I wanted to show you something. Just for a little bit of context. Let's do content. Let's go shorts. Let's sort by views. So my biggest short, not even that. Oh, 31K. Okay, Mike. Okay. And it's just a stupid video about spring noise. I hate making them, all right? I hate making them. 31,000 views. I should have made you guess. How much that was going to earn. 31,000 views. Oh my God, let's go. $1.48. Whoo. $1.48 is what that short has made me. Let's go to my biggest video. You can guess this one. Oh, it's still my GAN 356 videos. My 2 GAN 356 videos. My how to rebuild your 4x4, how to solve a STUCUBE, GAN 13 maglev, how to build a 6x6, lube comparison to lubes that don't even exist anymore. I tell you what, my Megamix last layer one is starting to juice now as well, which is great. Set up your GAN 3x3. None of my slops up there, because that's not how slop works. None of my slop will ever be up there. It's about quantity. But you guys can guess now, all right? I want your guess in the chats. Guess in the chat. So I made $1.50 on 30,000 views on a short. How much have I made? Well, let's take a comparison video. Let's go for the GAN 13 maglev with 38,000. So pretty much the same amount of views. Guesses in the chat. How much have I made on my long form? It's not even long form. It's 1 minute 40 seconds. Maybe that's not a good example. Let's just go with the biggest one. How much do you think I've made with this GAN setup video? Guesses in the chat right now. I'll wait, everyone. How much do you think I've made? $10, Kauka's saying. $1.48 for 30,000 views in shorts. Kauka saying $10. JDB the Cube Guy, $167. A bit of a spread. An Iron saying 50 times. What's 50 times 150? What's 50 times 150? This is going to be embarrassing. This is going to be one of those ones that I should have known. $75. Oh, that's what Ezra said as well. 33 cents, Luke. Let's find out. $23 from Ephemica. What have we made, everyone? What have we made from the GAN 356M setup video? $187. $187. Now, am I showing you that because I'm trying to flex on you? No. I'm only trying to demonstrate. Jacob, that was not a guess, sir. No way that was a guess. 188. I'm just trying to demonstrate the difference between shorts and long form and what you can make. And also to demonstrate... get out of here, Jacob. You absolutely did not. I just wanted to demonstrate that. So the massive difference between income for long form and short form videos. Now, reason for that, short form videos get you lots of vanity views and lots of vanity subscribers. Generally speaking, I'm making a big generalization here. Shorts get you vanity views and vanity subs in a sense as well. And it's potentially why you then see less good performance on your long form videos. This is something STUCUBE and I have talked about a lot, actually. because we discussed whether we should do shorts on our channels. And I said, I'm absolutely not going to, not anymore. I'm going to I had a separate shorts channel, which I've been very bad at uploading to, because I'm very bad at making shorts. Just finding the time is difficult. But I feel like all over YouTube, people are seeing the sort of late effects of the shorts game. Soup Timmy is an exception to the rule. Excuse me. Soup Timmy is an exception to the rule that I cannot fully explain. He breaks my theory, and it is only a theory. Soup Timmy is the exception to the rule. Okay. No. Don't get me. I don't want to get copyright struck. I need my 60 cents that I'll make on this live stream. I cannot explain, except I can explain why Soup Timmy still gets mega juice and views. It's because he's a bloody good creator. He's so freaking good at this. His videos are great. They are engaging. They are clearly capturing a wide audience. But he's got these turbo juice and shorts and 5.7 million subs. Is he the biggest cubing creator? Is he the biggest cubing creator? With shorts game like this, like I don't know how, because he gets millions. Actually, you know what? His shorts views are about the same as his long form views, and that's insane. It doesn't make sense compared to everyone else's channel. So that's the end of my cool story, I think. Just talking about Cube for Speed and his views and him quitting YouTube. I have mad respect for what Cube for Speed managed to do on YouTube. I don't like some of the stuff he said. Some of that stuff he said was not very cool at all. Not very nice at all. Kind of a jerk. Chang, must be Soup Timmy's amazing hair. Yeah, it must have been. But anyway, I got distracted by my own ramblings and then Chang's ramblings. I was saying, yeah, respect for Cube for Speed, and I can understand why he's stepping away. Because if you're not making money compared to what you were, and it's not worth your time to make money, why would you go? I cannot tell you how many times I've nearly given up on this. Like a year and a half into Cubecast, I probably quite naively hoped that I'd be like past 10k subs by now. I thought that was a given, but I've really slowed down on how much the channel's growing. I think if I'm gonna grow, I need to change my strategy, and I need to do shorts, but it will be on a different channel, and it will be on TikTok and Instagram to drive people to the content. I cannot break my channel with shorts, and I will not break my channel with shorts. But James said something interesting, because he posted a long form video. I was surprised that people actually liked and watched that rambling cubing. This is a big speculation coming now. I think potentially, I'll eat these words. I know I will. I think potentially the tide is turning, and there is more of an appetite for long form content now. I think. You can cook up those words. You can cook up those words and serve them back to me. Chang, I need an AI mic to shill your channel. It would not be difficult. That scares me, actually. It would not be difficult for someone to create an AI mic now, because there's so much of me talking. They could do my voice really easily. And that does kind of scare me a little bit. Please don't do that. I don't want that. Yeah, James, just check the ramble vid, and average view time is over 12 minutes. I've not actually listened to it yet, but I can tell you how I would engage with that video. This is very specific to me. I would put that on. I would immediately turn my phone off, and I would listen to it like a podcast. I listen to so much YouTube content. I listen to more YouTube than I watch YouTube. I listen to streamers. I listen to long form videos who clip from streams. And that's how I do it. But anyway, that was what I wanted to talk about with Cube for Speed. I just need to check something. I'm supposed to be helping a friend move a door today. Which is a pretty cool story, isn't it? Let's have some cool story music. Hey, that's a bit loud. Oh yeah. Let me just text. Just checking. Just checking we're still on. I'm just gonna wait for a reply to this text. Before I get into anything else, because I'll either be able to crack on with something, or I will have to go and help my friend move a really heavy door. These are what my Fridays are like, everyone. I'm gonna be streaming on Friday quite a lot, I think, in the future. It just makes a bit more sense. I think I might be moving to Fridays. Because I have an actual job now, which is really inconvenient, honestly. And here's the thing. That's why I bring up money and getting paid for streaming and getting paid for content, because I have to justify the time I spend streaming and committing a morning per week to streaming. I have to justify that to my wife, and I have to justify it in a financial way. And at the moment, it's not a great justification, because let's have a look. So the hours I'm putting in. So I'm streaming for 12 hours a month. I'm streaming for 12 hours a month, and this is what I'm looking at, like $180 for 28 days. $180. My subscribers per 28 days is way down. Only gained 66. It's a really, really hard game, doing YouTube successfully. And I've given it like such a red hot crack for a year and a half. I'm going to keep going. I'm not ready to quit yet. I will definitely review after 2 years. I will review after 2 years of Cubecast as to whether I go on. But essentially a day out of my week for less than $50 a week as an adult who has responsibilities. It's not great. It's not great, everyone. And it's nothing to do with you. It's not a go at you guys. Oh, I have a 1 p.m. appointment, so I have half an hour. Half an hour. What do we want to do with it? What do we want to do with it, everyone? Oh, actually, shoot, I should probably go and have lunch. I should probably go and eat something, shouldn't I? That hourly rate doesn't seem terrible to me. James, so that 181 was 28 days, so that's 4 live streams. So 12 hours of streaming. That's all my videos as well. So 12 hours of streaming. Let's say at least 8 hours. That's 20 plus 20. So plus 8. So let's say 20 hours. So $181 divided by 20 is 9 New Zealand dollars an hour. 9 New Zealand dollars an hour is currently my rate for streaming. And unfortunately, that's after a year and a half as well. So, it's tough. That's all I'm saying. It's tough, and I can understand why Cube for Speed would pull back from that. It's a non-trivial amount of money. It's a case of cubes. That's what it is at the moment, James. It's a case of cubes per month. That's pretty much it. Or it pays for my phone bill and some change. Pays for my phone bill and a couple of trips to Taco Bell. Shout out. I am going to call it, everyone. I need to eat something. I need to eat some lunch before I go and do stuff. We've been on for nearly 3 hours. Good gosh. Good gosh. All right, I am going to call it there, everyone. There's so much I didn't talk about today, but maybe I'll use that to pump out some extra videos during the holidays. But I also want to work on this script for the Miss Scramble video, and Iron mentioned it as well. I want to do my regs to fall asleep to. If I'm smart, if I'm smart, I've got 2 videos here. I've got Regs to fall asleep to, 2 hours of Regs to fall asleep to 25 edition. And then I've got a new edition to do in the new year, don't I? I can do it twice. 2 chances for that to take off. So that's cool. That's cool. And Iron, I need to fuel up to move a door. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've said Taco Bell now. So all I can think of is Taco Bell. That's your fault, Todd, for coming into the chat. I don't have time to drive to Taco Bell and get back for one, so I can't do it. God dang it. Ramen it is, I think. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much, Paul, for being on. And I really appreciate you all for hanging out and watching and for giving me all them juicy views. We love it. I'll have lots of videos. I'll have lots of videos for you this week, I'm sure. And I will... Stop it, Todd. Stop naming items at Taco Bell. You know what you're doing. Paul's still in the chat. Appreciate you hanging out, brother. Appreciate that. All right, I'm going to go. Love your work, everyone. Good. Where's the end screen? It's there. I nearly did the intro screen. Okay, bye.